primetime college football on ESPN. Tonight from the SEC, 12th-ranked Georgia takes on 6th-ranked LSU. Folks in Georgia haven't been this excited about a freshman since the days of Herschel Walker. Quarterback Quincy Carter is 6 foot 3 inches of raw, unbridled talent, ready to be unleashed. Two of the deadliest weapons in college football take the stage tonight. The impact of LSU's Kevin Falk goes far beyond running and catching the ball. He's one of the nation's most feared kick returners. And Georgia's Champ Bailey can change any game at any time. On offense, on defense, or on special teams, you can't take your eyes off him. Saturday night, Baton Rouge. The two were just plain made for each other. Tonight, the dedicated faithful put aside their cares for a few hours and descend upon venerable Tiger Stadium as Georgia comes calling on LSU. Number 12 against number 6, Baton Rouge, a part of the state that was saved at the wrath of Hurricane George last week. So the faithful are here in their standing room only, a very hard ticket to get a hold of. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin. Welcome once again to Saturday Prime Time. There are many great stadiums in this nation, in the Southeastern Conference, and all across the country. But if you're truly a football fan, a trip to Baton Rouge on a Saturday night certainly would be worth it in your future. It is a fun place to view college football. Why is this such a big deal tonight? Well, the month of October is underway. We hope it's not as crazy as September, but it could be. But consider this. Whoever loses this football game tonight could wind up losing 2 games in a row. Because for Georgia, they do get to go home, but they have to face off against number 3 ranked Tennessee next Saturday. And how about the LSU Tigers? They go on the road, and it's down in Gainesville, Florida, against what should be a very mad group of Florida Gators. So what's the big deal? That's the reason for all the cooking in the parking lot, the steaks, the ribs, the boudin, the etouffee. They are fired and ready to go. It's Saturday night in Baton Rouge, and the folks that have come calling, the Georgia Bulldogs. Adrian and Mike are standing by, but right now, let's go back to the studio and this word from Larry Beal. Larry?
All right, thanks, Ron. I don't know what etouffee is, but it sounds like something you might want to eat. We'll be here all night long in the college football studios, keeping you posted. Great day of action in the SEC. Tennessee and Auburn. This was all Vols early on. Jamal Lewis breaking free. Ran for 140 yards on the day. It was 17-0 Tennessee. They hold on against Auburn 17-9. Florida struggles to beat Alabama 16-10. Big numbers for Travis McGriff receiving. Kentucky and Arkansas. The Tim Couch Show continues. What touch to Quentin McCord puts Kentucky up 14-7. Couch has 2 touchdown passes already. That game can be seen against Arkansas on ESPN2. Hope you have picture-in-picture. Tulane will go to 4-0 if they can hang on against Southern Miss. Just over a minute left in that one. Southern Miss with 6 turnovers. Coming up, Champ Bailey, the offensive and defensive star for Georgia, hoping to get in and out of Death Valley alive and well. Georgia LSU next.
Hey there. Now, I got something here that's downright fun. My new popcorn chicken. Crunchy morsels of tender white meat. Hurry down to KFC. Try my new popcorn chicken for $1.99. At KFC, we do chicken right.
Now, sir, I'd like to get my hands on her.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to put her in drive.
Say hello to the Blank Road Dream, coming to a track near you. Thanks, and enjoy.
Got him.
Yeah, if I could only see.
I've got the perfect thing.
The Bosch Micro Edge XL has a revolutionary dual rubber wiping element.
What could have left a little?
It's the best cleaning, longest lasting blade we've ever made. Bosch Micro Edge XL, the most advanced wiper system ever.
Beautiful. But I think we lost the headlight.
Not a seat left in the house, and In fact, you talk about a tough ticket. We were told the president of the university was looking for tickets on Friday, and he could find none. Mike Gottfried is joining me on the telecast. And, Mike, this guy right here, Kevin Falk, led the group out. He was jumping 3 feet off the ground. The question for him tonight, he's going up against a defense of Joe Kynes in Georgia that has turned into one of the very best in the country. Can he run against them?
Ron, the big question is whether LSU can run the football against the Georgia defense. It's only given up 73 yards rushing per game. But really, the key, I believe, is Herb Tyler, the veteran quarterback for LSU. He's come up big in big ball games, and he's the thermometer to this program. When he plays well, they win. He rolls out, he dropped backs, and he ran a key draw play against Auburn. He came up big in the Auburn football game.
Mike, it's interesting. Georgia very young in spots, particularly on offense, but even though they're heavy underdogs, I say heavy, they're underdogs in this game, they're very confident also.
Well, they have a confident coach, Jim Donnan, but he has a freshman quarterback, Quincy Carter, like no other freshman we've seen. But Jim Donnan will have to try to keep him under wraps a little bit early in the ball game, just to keep his nerves down a little bit. No checkoffs at the line of scrimmage, call safe plays, and let him feel comfortable, and then turn him loose.
Jim Donnan, the head coach, third season at Georgia. You see his numbers. First game against LSU. And across the way, this gentleman right here is not only a big name in this state, he is a very popular guy because of what has happened with the fortunes of the LSU Tigers since Jerry DiNardo became the head coach. And I'll tell you something, folks, we got a heck of a break tonight. The temperature at game time, that is correct. 76 degrees. It's been in the 90s down here all week with heavy humidity. A good evening for the kids to show their stuff tonight. Champ Bailey to the near side, and here comes the kick. And this one is going to bound to Bailey at the 3. And let's check in on the sideline with Adrian Karsten.
Ron, thanks very much. Now, the heat index, as you said, is nowhere near what we expected down here on the field tonight. But fatigue can still become a factor for Georgia's Champ Bailey, playing in many as 4 positions tonight. The question is, when he goes directly from defense to offense, how quickly can he recover? So Jim Donnan tells me he will limit him in his role as a decoy player tonight in situations, Ron, where he doesn't actually get his hands on the ball.
So we have to look on both offense and defense for number 4 because he is a playmaker regardless of which side of the ball he's on. That was Wiggins in motion. And they throw it out quickly to Small, and he will take it for the first down. Going to be a gain of 11 yards. Starting lineups for the Bulldogs, Quincy Carter, and they'll have Olandis Gary and Patrick Pass behind him. The receivers, Michael Greer and Tony Small. The tight end, they have 3 very good ones. Larry Brown is the starter. And up front, these 2 tackles, Stinchcomb and Terry, could start for any university in America, and you'll see them work and work very well in this ball game tonight. Miles Lucky out of the football. He's the starter at center. Play. Here comes Pass. Has 5, has 10, counted off at 16, and now 17 yards as Cummings makes the stop. But the Georgia Bulldogs not only come out running, but the option is there.
And Ron, what they did here in the early part of the ball game is they have 2 really good tight ends, Larry Brown and Jermaine Wiggins. They split the tight ends out right away and kind of really caught LSU by surprise. And then they're running the option at the linebackers. Patrick Pass on the play. Pretty good scheme here by Jim Donnan early.
So he comes out and hits LSU with a surprise, and they scrimmage from the 47-yard line. Here's Champ Bailey. They try to get him outside on a reverse, and he'll be stopped after a gain of a couple just shy of the 50-yard line. Defensively for LSU, Mitchell, the guy they call Booger, Anthony McFarland in the middle, and he is everybody's All-American, along with Jarvis Green. Miller, Wesley, Dunson, they get Jamal Hill back tonight. They lost him the first game against Arkansas State. And in the secondary, this is a good group. Cummings and Wood at the corners, Roman and Chris LeBlanc, who had the interception for a touchdown a couple of weeks ago in our Auburn game. There's a look at McFarland. He can alter the course of any offense. First pass. Got him open. Throws it complete at the 39-yard line, and it's Bailey.
Ron, safe throws for Quincy Carter. Came out through a quick screen, and he ran the option and a quick out to Champ Bailey. But you can see right now, Quincy Carter's like no other freshman in this country. He's a poised quarterback, 6'3", 225. Signed with Georgia Tech out of high school. Then decided on a baseball career, then came to Georgia. Nice throw to Champ Bailey.
So the Georgia Bulldogs have come out really firing, running the ball, then they come up with the pass and have Bailey wide open, and they own the ball at the 39 of LSU. Carter, right over the middle, got one of his tight ends, and that's 89 Jermaine Wiggins. Ball is loose. Play, was it dead?
Looked like the linesman was going to spot it down.
The linesman did spot it down, and now well, the offense for Georgia is still on the field.
Yeah, I think the linesman's going to call it down.
They are asking for the change in the measurement, so obviously Georgia will hold on to the football.
Ron, Georgia has really good tight ends. This is Jermaine Wiggins going to hit a little delay over the middle. Linebackers clear. There's the pass. Let's see when the ball pops out. Now I think maybe it popped out a little soon.
Mark Roman is the man who caused it as they stretch the change out, and it is a first down, Georgia.
And you'd like, if you're Georgia, to come down here where noise is such a big factor and score right off the bat.
Because what Mike's talking about is Georgia's scrimmages in this opening quarter. They're going toward their fans, the red-clad in the end zone to the south. If they're headed the other direction, they're going into the student section of LSU. There you can see the folks from Athens who have come over. 3 for 3, 32 yards so far for Quincy Carter.
Look a little confused coming out of the huddle here.
Well, they roll the pocket, dumps the pass off. Larry Brown, the tight end, will get by one tackler and take it for 5 more yards as LeBlanc will finish him off. But Larry didn't look like a basketball player there.
No, Ron, he lowered his 6'5", 270-pound frame. Again, a lot of formations by Jim Donnan here early, trying to confuse the LSU defense. There's the powerful running of Larry Brown. This is a nice drive by Georgia. Good mix. Mostly passing in this series. It's a one option play.
Second down, the line to make is the 19 of LSU.
Well, they got numbers on the run here.
Straight ahead. Gary tripped up by Joe Wesley, and let's see, they're going to give him forward progress about a yard shy at the 20.
Joe Wesley made a good play there. He has 22 tackles coming into this ball game. They like to protect him with the scheme that LSU runs. Lou Tepper, the defensive coordinator, he plays behind Anthony McFarland.
And now Quincy Carter says, I want a timeout. He looked up at the play clock, which is already down at 14, and he calls the timeout. So we'll take the break with him. No score. The Dogs are driving.
At BASF, we don't make the sunscreen. We make it stronger. We don't make the tennis shoes. We make them grip better. We don't make the jacket, we make it brighter. We don't make the carpet, we make it tougher. At BASF, we don't make a lot of the products you buy, we make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
Because of our passion for design and engineering, our vehicles speak for themselves. And recently, others have had some great things to say about our quality, too. Sebring Convertible, Total Quality Award. Town & Country, Total Quality Award. Cirrus, Best in Class in Initial Quality by J.D. Power & Associates. Concord, Best in Class in Initial Quality by J.D. Power & Associates. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
I love lobster. Boiled lobster, broiled lobster, jumbo lobster, baked stuffed lobster, steamed lobster, lobster Newburgh, lobster tail,
There he goes again.
lobster roll, sauteed lobster. Did I mention lobster stew? Boiled
The Cook's Lobster House off the coast of Maine. They'll give you lobster just about any way you want it. But bring your Visa card, because you won't get a bite using American Express.
Sir, any suggestions?
There's boiled lobster.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
ESPN's presentation of college football is brought to you by BASF. We don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. And by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. Well, Uga's got to like what he sees. Uga's standing in ice over there. That is really a smart dog, Mike. Third down, and they need about a yard. Pass is the lone setback, number 6. Bootleg, got his tight end Wiggins, and that'll be good for the first down, plus about 5 yards.
No one uses their tight ends better than the University of Georgia. This has been a tight end drive. It's 3 catches for the tight end. Jermaine Wiggins figuring that LSU is going to think it's going to be a running play. A little fake by Quincy Carter, come out the backside, hit Jermaine Wiggins, and Quincy Carter, they've given him safe throws around here early, and he's hot.
Like that's 3 catches by the tight ends already on this drive.
And here's where they give LSU a problem, because they split the two tight ends out.
Pass tripped over his own man. Ball came loose. McFarland caused the mess up in the middle, and they're going to say that he went down on his own and lost the football.
That was a trap up inside. They tried to split the 2 tight ends out, tried to get LSU to spread out, and tried to hit Patrick Pass on a trap. Too much Anthony McFarland, number 94, got too much influence inside.
It's like he knocked the guard back into it. But you could see as he bounced on the ground, that's where the ball came loose. 10th play of the drive. Second down, they need the 5. At the 4-5 touchdown. Champ Bailey.
Ron, you've got to know where he is on the field. He come into this ball game, he had 11 receptions for 2 touchdowns. When they bring him in the ball game, they're not bringing him in for window dressing. They're going to use him.
Had a man hanging on him, and he broke the tackle at the 5-yard line and took it in for the touch. And Hap Hines will attempt the extra point to cap off what was an extremely impressive opening Georgia drive. So there's a timeout. 10:05 to play in this opening quarter. Georgia 7, LSU nothing.
The mighty Chrysler.
The 300 idea is the idea of a powerful, responsive, nimble automotive machine.
The all-new 99 Chrysler 300M, the most powerful sports sedan in its class.
As long as I've worked on this engine, I still get a tingle every time we open the hood.
The Chrysler 300M. The technology has changed, but the soul lives on. Lease the all-new Chrysler 300M for just $399 a month.
I'm grateful that Michael Garcia is in our lives.
State Farm, Mike Garcia speaking.
We had a house fire, house burned.
That was a tough day.
They didn't treat us as a policyholder. They treated us as a neighbor, as a friend.
I gave him a check right away. We went from there to putting the pieces back together.
He's not a hero in the sense of a sports hero or a movie star. He's a quiet hero. He looks out for everyone in the neighborhood.
It's gone from being a slogan to really being my way of life.
Are you okay?
Taxi! Yes, Scott?
Prodigy Internet has faster download speeds, so you spend less time online and more time on life. Prodigy Internet.
Florida hasn't forgotten last year. Saturday, 85,000 Gator crazies think payback.
LSU versus Florida at 7 next Saturday on ESPN.
Champ Bailey Bailey on the sideline. Mike, we were just laughing about the same thing.
That was great.
Jim Donald was talking to him about offense, and Joe Kynes came over to talk defense.
A man coverage, and right here's Champ Bailey working on the man coverage. He's going to break inside of Damian Woods, and that ball's right on the money, and you see his little burst. But it was funny, Ron, because Joe Kynes came over. Jim Donald's talking offense. Joe Kynes, the defensive coordinator, says, can you go to the first series for us? They both want him on the field.
Well, I don't blame him after what you've seen.
He may be the best all-around football player in the country. There's no doubt.
Olivan sets to kick it off for Georgia. Extremely impressive drive, and he kicks this one. He tops it. Going to be picked up by one of the up blockers and taken at the 36. And let's check in with Larry Beal.
All right, Ron, Texas and Iowa State. Major Applewhite to Derek Lewis. Oh, he's wide open. 7-0 Longhorns first quarter.
So Mac Brown trying to put a couple of wins together here. Big win last week, and Ricky Williams over 300 yards.
Now LSU has to answer here, Ron. Anytime you get a score on you, you're the home team, whether you're the home or the visitor, you want to come right back and answer it.
Falk, first carry for him, and that's Cochran who reaches up and grabs him by the ankles and makes the stop. As you take a look at the starters for the Tigers in offense, Tyler, of course, the quarterback, Tommy Banks, the impressive fullback, along with Kevin Falk, the receivers, and these guys are good ones. Foster put on quite a show over against Auburn. Tight end is Kyle Kipps, and Abram Booty, obviously very good. Todd McClure, preseason All-SEC. Some people got him on their All-American list. Very good one at center. Here comes Falk. He bounces it outside. 5, 10, 15, and a flag is down. And that's going to be a hold as Dustin Lucky got tackled on the play. And this one will be erased. A 23-yard gain by Falk.
Tackled by Harris and Seymour.
Rogers Redding, the referee tonight.
Kevin Falk's going to get to the outside on the zone play.
Yeah, you see
the hold right here.
Mm-hmm. And it's Kyle Kipps, the tight end. You can see that jersey flare. You see number 50, Miles Lucky, with his hands out saying, he locked me up. And the official was close enough to see it, tossed the flag, and very costly to LSU.
And that's what the linesman looks at, Ron. He looks at the tight end. The umpire checks the interior line, but the linesman is looking outside in, and he'll pick that penalty up every time.
Now look at this lineup right here. Falk is in the lineup, as well as Mealy. Mealy lined up at tailback, and Falk out with the wide receivers, Booty and also Foster, top of your screen. And they get it out to Falk. He gets immediate attention, and Champ Bailey is there to wrap him up after a gain of a couple of really good-looking All-Americans facing off there.
Ron, you see why he's an All-American. Champ Bailey on both sides. He makes a touchdown catch, and then he comes right back against Kevin Falk, knowing that Kevin Falk split out now as a wide receiver, and the LSU coaches told me he may be their best receiver, and Champ Bailey makes that tackle.
Also, let's give credit to Kirby Smart. You could see number 16.
He read it all the way.
Yeah, he gave quick attention to Falk and forced him into an area where his teammate was.
Anytime they see Falk split, he's going to catch their attention, just like Champ Bailey should if he split out on the offensive side for Georgia.
Third down for LSU, and Mike, they need to take it out to the 46.5-yard line. Tyler from the shotgun, deep over the middle, got his man Foster, and that is enough for the LSU first down. Oh my goodness. He threw a clothesline, 19 yards, and they have the first.
Well, Herb Tyler came into this game 40 of 59 with 6 touchdowns and only 1 interception, and he finds Larry Foster against Champ Bailey down the middle.
Foster picking up where he left off at Auburn. This ball is a tad behind him. Look at the athletic ability here, Mike. Goes up and takes it down.
And Ron, good pass protection by the offensive line of LSU gave Herb Tyler a chance to find the receiver.
This is Falk. Going to be very short yardage. Mike, we probably need to mention the happiest person on the field when that first down was achieved had to be Kyle Kipps, who had been called for that holding and stopped the 23-yard gain a moment ago. 7-0 if you just joined us. Georgia took the opening kickoff and marched 80 yards to score the touchdown, 79 officially. And for the young quarterback, Quincy Carter, he was 6 of 6. for 63 yards on that opening drive. Now LSU trying to answer from the 50. Tyler, play action, got his man. Foster again. 17 yards on this pass play. Let's look at the defense for the Georgia Bulldogs. The down 3. Stroud, Leroy, and Richard Seymour gets the start tonight ahead of Paul Snellings. The linebackers, Cochran, Lucky, Hollingshead, and Arantes Grant. That's Dustin Lucky, number 50. And in the secondary, Champ Bailey and Jeff Harris are the corners. It's Harris they just picked on. Kirby Smart and Quentin Davis are the safety.
Ron, they've taken Champ Bailey out. Now Glenn Ford's in. I'm sure he's winded after that offensive series.
Draw play. Right up the middle. Inside the 30-yard line. Falk tripped up. I believe Arantes Grant, is the man who took his feet out from under him.
And this is what the trade-off is. Now Champ Bailey's coming back into the ballgame, but you got to find spots to rest him because he's playing so much offense. He's pressed in defense. And when you're a secondary player, you're running a lot with the wide receivers. So you've got to spell him in certain times of this ballgame.
Well, he's fortunate we had this temperature in the 70s tonight. Falk is 4 carries, 10 yards, but he'll take this one inside the 25 and down to the 20. That's enough for the first down for the Tigers. Quentin Davis, the free safety, knocks him down.
And you have to be patient against this Georgia defense because they're not going to give you big plays. They're a bend but not break defense. They'll give you, they'll make you work the length of the field, hoping that you make a mistake against the defense.
Well, interesting move right here. Fresh legs, and Rondell Mealy checking into the lineup. We saw what he could do last year against Notre Dame as he just shredded the Irish in that Independence Bowl at Shreveport.
The MVP in the Independence Bowl.
Blitz coming off the corner. They run right there. It's Mealy. Has 5, has 10. Counted off. Touchdown from 21 yards and a block that came from heaven by Tommy Banks.
Well, Ron, what happened is Tommy Banks ran into Kirby Smart, the safety blitz, and they ran right into it and hit that touchdown.
Well, we told you this one might be a pretty good one. I think the barn has already started burning. With the extra point attempt down at the 10, and he's got it. So it's 6:09 left to play, opening quarter. It is Georgia 7, LSU with an immediate answer, 7.
This simple-looking device is the key to discovering your hidden potential. It can change the look and shape of every line and curve on your body. Because it's the weight, the challenge, and the secret behind one of the most effective fitness machines in the world. Introducing the Bowflex Power Pro. Bowflex uses patented power rod resistance to give you an incredibly smooth, natural feel for over 60 different health club quality exercises. With features like a built-in aerobic rowing exercise, convertible grips, and convenient folding capabilities, it's easy to see why a Bowflex was selected by Fitness Magazine as the best home gym. It's time to get the results you want with no money down and payments as low as $33 a month. Call right now for your free video and brochure and discover the look you've always wanted with the Bowflex Power Pro.
The Seattle Seahawks head to Arrowhead for a battle with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's ESPN Sunday Night Football.
What is a Seahawk? Is it like a seagull? Is it a common animal on the West Coast?
Computer technology in the Seattle area may give the Seahawks a competitive advantage.
What? What are you talking about?
Computers, they may give the team secret strategies and such with data and feedback.
Ah, that's a bunch of bunk.
ESPN Sunday Night Football. The Seahawks against the Chiefs.
The Internet's the CB radio of the 90s.
Tied at 7, Mealy with the 21-yard touchdown, and he and Falk are best friends. Falk very happy for his buddy to have scored. What happened, Mike?
Tommy Banks is going to make a block right here on Kirby Smart, the safety. The safety blitz, they ran right into it. Got a good block by Foster on the outside. Rondell Mealy in the end zone.
Well, we just had mentioned fresh legs coming into the game, and boy, he is very, very good himself. That's Champ Bailey. He won't return it from 4 yards deep in the end zone. So some of the capacity crowd that has barely been in their seats tonight, Mike. This is the kind of game that we had kind of thought it might be, but are you surprised that both were so effective on opening offensive drive?
I think the series by Georgia was outstanding. They used their tight ends, and LSU came right back. Herb Tyler did exactly what we thought he'd do. The veteran quarterback, he answered and made some good throws. I don't know if that was a checkoff to the safety blitz, but it was a good play call.
Up and drills it, has it complete. Larry Brown out to the 37, and he is now 7 of 7, and that play good for 17 yards.
When nice block by Chris Terry, the right tackle, just rode the defensive end outside of Quincy Carter. You're going to see him right here, roll him out. Give the avenue for Quincy Carter to hit Larry Brown. Two very impressive tackles on this Georgia football team, and two really good tight ends. So they're good on the outside. Here's the play around. Here's where they like to split the LSU defense out here with no backs.
Here comes the corner blitz. They pick it up, and the pass right there to Bailey, and he breaks the tackle, and he's free. Bailey inside the 40, and right from where they sent the corner with the blitz, Mike, is where they picked it up and threw. Ray on Hill.
Ron, and you would think, and I'm sure Lou Tepper, the defensive coordinator, is saying to his defensive secondary when he's on the field, number 4, Champ Bailey, make sure. There's the block by Larry Brown on the blitz. Larry Brown saw the blitz coming. Here's the block right here that sets it all up. But they have to know where Champ Bailey's lined up. Too dangerous a threat.
Well, the tight ends have really been a part of this offense
they've been
tonight.
big.
They have looked really good. 5 catches for the tight ends already. They set the screen. Gets it out to pass. There's McFarland out there, and McFarland slows down the play enough for Dunson to get out and make the tackle, but put a big star by number 94, because the thing that makes him so good, and I don't care if the pro scouts say he's too short, his relentless pursuit.
Well, I talked to some pro scouts at the North Carolina State game the other day about Anthony McFarland. They said he's like Michael Dean Perry, and he is an outstanding pursue guy. Anthony McFarland, 6'1", 290. I don't care, again, about his height. He's going to be a great player in the pro football ranks.
We have holding against Georgia.
One of the first mistakes by Georgia. LSU likes a lot of 2 deep, Ron, which means safety's on the hash. The middle of the field's open. Every opponent to this point has hit them in the middle of the football field.
So in other words, what you're saying, you don't be surprised if the tight ends and the running backs catch a lot of balls.
They'll be a big factor in this ball game, because you're always trying to get somebody down the middle. Here's a 2 deep scheme right here.
Ronnie Bradley into the ball game. Carter shows his scrambling ability, drills the pass, has it complete at the 24-yard line to Michael Greer. And that's a nice job by Greer coming back to help out his quarterback.
Ron, Michael Greer was on a post route. He's seen the trouble that Quincy Carter was in. He turned it into an out route, and he came back. Quincy Carter shows you again his gifted athletic ability. Scrambles around. Now he sees Michael Greer, and he has a strong enough arm to get that ball out to Michael Greer.
Tell you what, Carter, pretty good start. 9 of 9, 130 yards.
Can't get much better than that.
Bradley and Arnaud, the 2 running backs for Georgia. And it's Bradley hit behind the line and knocked down by McFarland.
Well, Lou Tepper, the defensive coordinator, Ron, on the sideline, he installed this new system in the Notre Dame game in the Independence Bowl. Put about 30% in the 2 deep scheme, and now he's adding to it every week. And his team, defensively, they're under the tutelage of Carl Reese, who's gone on to Texas, and it's an entirely different scheme for LSU, and they're trying to grasp it.
second down, and Georgia needs the LSU 15-yard line. Carter, this sideline, and has it complete. That's Small. Tony Small went high in the air and came down with 1 foot in bounds. Woods with the cover, but it should be enough for the first down.
Well, I haven't seen many freshmen on the road perform like Quincy Carter. I mean, he's come out here on fire. He's hitting every pass. He's making some good calls at the line of scrimmage. Ran one option. He is just off to a marvelous start. Came into the ball game 39 of 59 for 4 touchdowns, but only 1 interception. He looks like he is poised. Ice water in his veins.
No, don't jinx him. He's 10 of 10, 145
I don't think he cares what we say.
Well, I know that. Quarterback draw. And he'll take it down to the 8-yard line, or about the 8.5, as Arnold Miller will wrap him up.
Arnold Miller made the tackle. Your attention, please.
Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, filled to capacity as number 6 hosting number 12, the Georgia Bulldogs. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten. And glad to have you along tonight. Georgia took the opening kickoff and drove 79 yards. LSU came right back and answered, and that's how we stand at 7 apiece. But the Bulldogs are driving again.
Ron Camp Bailey's back in the ball game. Now let's see if they go to him and use him as a decoy.
He's to the short side of the field. Right over the middle. Small breaks the tackle, turns it upfield, and he is close to the first down at the 2-yard line as Miller again will make the tackle.
Excellent effort by Tony Small, the wide receiver. A big play wide receiver for Jim Donnan's ball club. Made a lot of players miss on this. This should have been tackled right at the line of scrimmage.
Small is 6'2", 215, a senior out of Jacksonville.
Here's the replay, Ron. Tony Small, there's 1 shot at him. There's 2 shots at him. Arm tackles, and they finally bring him down.
He's caught 3 passes for 32 yards. First and goal, Georgia. Over the top, nothing doing. Alandis Gary got greeted rudely by Joe Wesley, the senior out of Brookhaven, Mississippi.
Boy, good job right there. That's what you have to do. If you're a linebacker, you've got to meet the tailback in the air. Ron, in the Georgia game now, they have the play-action pass, and Quincy Carter's very dangerous down here to fake that ball and roll out in a run-pass type situation.
The guy who has bootleg cover better stay at home.
They better stay at home because he is very dangerous on the outside.
Here we come with second down. This is the 9th play of this drive. Pitches it to Gary. He will score. So the Georgia Bulldogs have quieted this partisan house at Baton Rouge and have gone on top 13-7. Mike, this is an interesting team, and you said it early when we had them against South Carolina. You better get them early because getting them late might not be a lot of fun. It's still early, but right now they're not a lot of fun.
Ron, they have the closest athletes to Florida I've seen in this league. They're young, but they're only going to get better. Big block by Ronnie Bradley, 25.
So 2:02 left in this opening quarter, and Georgia goes on top by a count of 14-7. And rare indeed, you see offenses take the ball and go right down the field and score, and that's what we've done, almost eating up the entire first quarter. Nine plays, 80 yards, 4:01 used off the clock. Gary scores the touchdown. Well, the most memorable of seasons in Major League Baseball continues later tonight with the National League Division Series. The Astros and the Padres are tied at a game apiece, and they head west. Tonight's game, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Game 3 this evening, following a residence in college game nights.
Ron, I don't know if Georgia just popped that on the last kickoff or whether they respect Kevin Falk enough to keep it.
What on the conference call on Wednesday, Jim Donnan said, I will not kick to the guy. And he's got a pooch kick right here.
But this is what you want right here. You don't want any kind of return.
Dangerfield signal for the fair catch. So what Georgia is doing, what Mike is alluding to, they're giving up some field position, but they don't want Kevin Falk to get the ball any more than he can.
Got Champ Bailey on the sideline now. They've got the backup Glenn Ford in, and that's a key for Joe Kynes too. You make sure that Glenn Ford's good enough, and he feels he's good enough to play against these LSU receivers.
Falk and Banks are the setbacks. Georgia 14-7. Falk in motion. That's who they're looking for. And the pass is underthrown. That was a nice job coming up quickly, Jeff Harris. And I think out of the corner of his eye, Tyler could see it. He kind of cut the pass off a little bit.
Ron, he's just a smart quarterback. And I talked to Morris Watts, the offensive coordinator. He said after the Auburn game, he could hardly practice. He took so many shots in the passing game and running the option. He had bruised ribs. They didn't run him last week against Idaho. You'll see him run some option tonight against Georgia, but they want to protect him.
Well, Joe Kynes told us when we had our conference call with him this week, he said it's where it starts. He said, Falk, obviously, but you got to stop this guy, number 14. Tyler, lots of time, lots of poise, and another completion to Foster. Larry Foster, the junior out of Harvey, Louisiana. Every time we see him, he's putting on some kind of show.
Ron, he's getting better and better as a wide receiver, and Herb Tyler showing you a senior quarterback in action. I mean, he is so poised. Mickey Matthews, the defensive secondary coach, said he's the most underrated quarterback in America. You see him just slide, find Larry Foster in his view, and hit him on the pass with Jeff Harris on coverage.
Some of the folks standing at the top of the stadium, we were not joking. We said, I mean, it is SRO here in Baton Rouge tonight. Here's Falk, and he takes it inside the 45 to the 44. Arontis Grant is there defensively. And these two offenses tonight both have done a lot of good study and obviously have found holes in the other defense.
They're taking a knife to both these defense. They're carving them up. Lou Tepper on his sideline. He's got his whole defensive group around him trying to explain what Georgia's doing to him and the adjustments that he's going to make.
Second down. Falk again. Big opening, has the first down as he lowers ahead and takes it to the Georgia 36.5. Grant again defensively.
Al Jackson, Ron, the left guard of LSU, really opened up a good hole for Kevin Falk. And then Tommy Banks, the fullback, also is leading in there. Falk,
as you take a look at the play, Mikey came off pointing toward his eye.
There's the block, and it was on Adrian Hollenshed by Al Jackson.
Falk came off pointing to his eye. I don't know if he got a finger in the eye or what, but he came off immediately. And Rondell Mealy has come in to replace him. And right now, Herb Tyler says, let's stop the clock and take a timeout. 30 seconds remaining, opening quarter. Georgia 14, LSU 7. We'll take the break with them.
When you qualify for benefits with Transamerica Long-Term Care Insurance, you can make yourself at home because you can still live at home. The people in the pyramid working for you.
Mark, if you're at the airport before my 8 o'clock flight, maybe we can talk. Otherwise, it's over.
Didn't get an AC Delco battery? They last up to 30% longer. AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Introducing Alero. Alero by Oldsmobile. Start something.
With Transamerica Life Insurance and your estate plan, you can be sure your money will go where you want it to go. The people in the pyramid working for you.
Bert Jones in the stands tonight, former LSU great at quarterback, just explaining to one of his young sons a route or something defensively that they were doing. First down, LSU. The line of scrimmage, the 36.5 of Georgia. Falk back in the lineup, gets the handoff, and a nice job defensively. You can see that Lewis Williams just got pushed back by Cochran, and Cochran makes the stop. Cochran, one of the youngsters at Joe Kind, you get him talking about Cochran, and it's kind of like the offensive coach is talking about Quincy Carter.
Well, that's exactly right. He said he's like a cat. You can't knock him off his feet, and he's the best defensive lineman for Joe Kynes in the front four. Joe Kynes makes you work to score. He's making LSU, not giving them many big plays, but they're opening up Georgia for the running game.
Two wide receivers to the top of your screen. It's Booty on the very top and Foster. As Tyler under pressure gets his pass away wide open right over the middle is Abram Booty. Quentin Davis made the tackle, but it's good for 22 yards, and somebody forgot number 22.
I think Larry Foster ran through the middle of the football field, and they had a bust in the coverage because two players ran with Larry Foster. Larry Foster's going to clear out, and here's Abram Booty coming inside.
That's a nobody there. Nice athletic move by Herb Tyler, who had a lot of pressure on him, and he stepped up and got it off. First down, Tigers. The ball just outside the 15, and that is the end of the opening quarter. What an exciting quarter it was. Neither offense being close to being stopped by the other team's defense. 14-7, Georgia leads. Back with more from Baton Rouge after this.
Are you concerned about losing more hair? Do you wonder how much further it will go? Do you wish you could do something about it? Well, now there's a pill for men with certain types of hair loss. Introducing Propecia. In clinical studies, the vast majority of men, 83%, maintain their current hair count, and most, 66%, regrew some hair. Take it daily and you could see results in as little as 3 months. Propecia is for men only. A small number of men experience certain sexual side effects. Each occurred in less than 2% of men. Women who are or may potentially be pregnant must not use it or handle broken tablets because of the risk of a specific kind of birth defect. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist and read the consumer information they can provide. Propecia, helping make hair loss history.
Whenever car batteries are put to the test, America's most trusted lives up to its name. Die Hard. What's under your hood?
The marvel of its aerodynamics. The sheer exhilaration of takeoff. It's enough to make an aerospace engineer jealous. Chrysler Concorde. Ranked best premium midsize car in initial quality by J.D. Power and Associates. Now, lease a Concorde LX for $289 a month. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
When the market caught the Asian flu and the ruble turned to rubble, who was looking out for your interests? Instead of calling your stockbroker, you could be calling your own shots on the new E-Trade, getting free real-time quotes, breaking news alerts, continuous portfolio tracking, 24-hour access. It's the #1 rated place to invest online. If you're interested in looking out for your own interests, call 1-800-E-TRADE-1 to find out why. Someday, we'll all invest this way.
At Plank Road, we don't do everything well. Fortunately, beer is something we do well. Ice House, thanks and enjoy.
Well, it goes without saying that the folks that journeyed over here from Athens are very excited about what they have seen so far. Their team leading to 14-7, but the LSU Tigers are driving with a first down and the ball just outside the 15-yard line. Reverses it. Kicks just shy of the 10, and he is injured to his right ankle. You see him reaching right back and grabbing that ankle. But he's not heading to the sideline.
Ron, Champ Bailey, again, the corner, he has really been out there this whole first quarter. He played 22 plays in this first quarter of 33. Starts off this fourth quarter, but he has been a factor on the offensive side and the defensive side.
By the way, Mike, 18 first downs between the two teams in the first half. As Falk is tackled, ball is loose, and now here come flags from everywhere, and you can see Falk saying he was grabbed by the face mask as Miller made the tackle. Well, Williams likes it. Lewis, the big offensive tackle, he comes away applauding, so it must be against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Personal foul.
Wow, major.
Against the defense. Pass the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
So LSU is going to get this ball at about the 5.5-yard line, and there you see he was tackled by the face mask. That's the major, and the automatic first down.
Brandon Miller, number 51, with a face mask.
Only 3 penalties in this game tonight. LSU erasing a 23-yard gain with a holding call. And this, the first major penalty against the Georgia Bulldogs. They had 1 procedure call. From the 5.5. Tyler. Touchdown, LSU, Kyle Kipps. Time, Mike.
Same play, Ron. They ran against Auburn. Hit him on a touchdown. Tight end blocks. Kyle Kipps works out. Play action fake, draws the defensive backs up. Touchdown.
Boyd ties it at 14. And I guess the biggest question right now is, will both offenses continue to do this? Can either defense stop the other team? We're tied at 14. We'll be right back with more for Baton Rouge.
When you qualify for benefits with Transamerica long-term care insurance, you can make yourself at home because you can still live at home. The people in the pyramid working for you.
Mark, if you're at the airport before my 8 o'clock flight, maybe we can talk. Otherwise, it's over.
Didn't get an AC Delco battery? They last up to 30% longer. AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Transamerica Life Insurance and your estate plan, you can be sure your money will go where you want it to go. The people in the pyramid working for you.
ESPN's presentation of college football is brought to you by Transamerica. The people in the pyramid are working for you. And by AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, if you're not asking for it, you're asking for it. LSU, Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge, and a full moon tonight. Maybe that's what's happening here, Mike. As we went to break, we're just wondering out loud again to each other as you look at Kipps, who scored the touchdown pass. Both of these defenses are good, but neither can stop the other team, as this kickoff is going to go to Bailey 9 yards deep in the end zone, and he will not return it. Well, serious fans of college football should check out the ESPN game plan on pay-per-view. Get up to 10 extra games each week or get the season package, and you'll see up to 100 games from around the country. Now, to order, call DirecTV, Prime Star, Dish Network, or your local cable company and ask for the ESPN game plan.
Ron, they start this series with Champ Bailey back in the ballgame, so they're using him a lot in both offense and defense. He caught that kickoff, so he's been very active.
Look at these totals, Mike. Almost 200 yards for Georgia already, and really good balance for LSU. Bailey in motion. They throw the screen back the other direction, and this is Parker. Now here come late flags from everywhere.
It's going to be on Matt Stinchcomb, I believe, a holding call.
Johnny Mitchell ran him out of bounds. Jeffrey or Michelle Skipper.
Stinchcomb said an interesting thing yesterday as we talked with him after the walkthrough. This is the first time he said, I didn't think I was going to get to play here because of the rotation. They had not played LSU, and he said when I was in high school, this is one of the stadiums I wanted to play in because I'd seen it on television. I had read.
First down.
He said, I just wanted to come here and play because I'd always heard and read so much about the atmosphere. So he's getting to live it tonight.
Yeah, I think all the Georgia players felt that way. They felt like they're good enough to come in here and play LSU. They don't care about the crowd.
Well, now LSU had this happen to them a moment ago, and they picked up a 3rd and long. Right now it's 1st and long for the Georgia Bulldogs. We have not had a punt in the ball game as yet. That's Bailey, and they hand it off to him off the motion. And he'll take it out to the 26-yard line. So just like that, Champ Bailey makes it a 2nd down, and they'll have about 4.5.
Well, they're using him, Ron. I mean, they're lucky, like you said, that the evening is like it is tonight. It's cool.
But it been like it was last night. I'm not sure he could have done all this.
No, he'd have been over lathering down with some water right now. But again, they run him on the little reverse, and Larry Brown had a nice block and picked up good yardage and puts him in 2nd and medium.
Champ's mom had an interesting quote in a newspaper article on him yesterday. He's not much at trash talking. In fact, he didn't talk much at all. And his mom said, well, the Lord didn't mean for us all to be high and mighty and run around blowing our mouth off. Carter, first time tonight he is sacked for the LSU Tigers, Mark Roman. Also McFarland.
Yeah, the booger was in there because he made a push on the guards. And when we were talking to Jim Donnan the other day, he talked about how good Anthony McFarland is. He said, but we're not going to do anything special for him. He gets by the block of Jonas Jennings, number 75. They play him in that tilt position, Ron, to try to draw 2 people blocking him.
All right, it is 3rd down. And they need the 30-yard line to pick up the first. And Georgia's got them spread all over the field. Here comes the blitz. And Carter with a quarterback draw. And he'll have the first down plus about 5 more yards. Mark Roman, and this guy, folks, he is 230 pounds, but he runs a 4.5. And anytime you spread him out, you could look for a quarterback draw.
And, Ron, that's the thing. He's like a running back at the quarterback position. So when you spread everybody out, watch this block by Larry Brown, number 87, right here on the linebacker. And that opens up Quincy Carter to pick up the first down.
Tell you what, he took a pretty good shot there. Mark Roman came across and also had help from the other side. Alandis Gary this time is the only setback. We're tied at 14 if you've just joined us. Just over 11 minutes to play first half. Carter got it complete, and that is small, and he's still perfect, isn't he? 13 of 13.
Both punters might as well go get hot dogs because they're not going to be used much tonight. Quincy Carter waited perfectly. He shows you great patience here for a freshman. He rolls out to the right side. He's waiting for Tony Small to come clear. There he is, number 9. Behind the linebackers, Mark Roman makes the tackle. Good patience by the quarterback, Quincy Carter. Neither team really, except for the sack by McFarland, is putting pressure on the quarterback.
Small, 4 catches, 45 yards. yards. Pitch the pass. Now he can throw, and he throws it back to Carter, the quarterback. Carter finally tackled inside the 15. 38 yards, and one of the things the LSU coaches said, Georgia always has 3 or 4 trick plays, and they're good with them.
Ron, they made that statement. Jerry DiNardo said they ran 4 trick plays against their rival Florida last year. So he expected some trick plays in this ball game. But a lot of times when you're in man-for-man coverage, you don't account for the quarterback. You account for everybody, but not the quarterback. Robert Davis missed that tackle.
Finally, Roman came over and put the stop. And Georgia knocking on the door again as the pitch goes back to pass, and he's going to be collared with a head-high tackle at the 10-yard line. And that was Theo Williams, a junior out of Marrero, Louisiana, on the stop.
Can't remember a game that we've done where the offenses have just gone up and down the field in the first part of the ball game. Neither defense coming close to slowing down the offenses.
You know, what's interesting?
Good mix by the play calling. I think that's the key.
Yeah, it really has been.
Now you have to worry about tight ends down here now.
7 plays, 70 yards so far. Just over 3 minutes taken up on this drive. Carter zings it, has it complete, and Small got it with 1 foot in bounds. That's what the crowd is asking about.
Ron, that was like fitting it with a shoehorn. I mean, that's how tight the coverage was by Robert Davis on Tony Small. Again, the impressive way that Quincy Carter fires that ball in. He has great arm strength.
14 of 14, 175 yards for Carter in this first half. Arnaud comes into the lineup, number 30, along with Ronnie Bradley, number 25. Pitch to Arnaud. Tries to turn the corner at the 2 and is tackled at the 1 by Mark Roman. Roman, we have him unofficially for 7 tackles. The only bad thing about it is he's having a great game, but when your free safety's making that many stops, it means the wrong folks are in his area.
That was big, Ron, because that saved a touchdown.
Sure did.
He came from center field. He was Willie Mays on that play because he made up a lot of ground. Now, go back to what LSU did when they got down here. The quarterback on the option pass is available for Quincy Carter.
Arnaud is the man at the top of the eye. Carter hands it off to the fullback, and he will score. Ronnie Bradley.
Right behind Chris Terry.
Well, we didn't know if they'd give it to Arnaud or not because today is his birthday. But Bradley got the present, and he takes it in and makes it a 20-14 ball game with 9:32 left. Cap Hines tries to make it a 7-point lead for Georgia again. He got it. So there's a break in the action. Just over 9.5 left until halftime. Georgia by 7 points. Okay.
Great. Yeah, that tuna. These AC Delco parts are about the most dependable you can buy. They should really help improve your performance.
Come on, they're all the same. I'll take some out of this bushel basket.
Okay.
AC Delco. No matter what you drive, if you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Who else but Sonic could take a great American invention like the toaster and go it one better?
Introducing new toaster sandwiches from Sonic. Served on Texas toast made fresh to order in your choice of bacon cheeseburger or chicken club. Both topped with crispy bacon and tangy smoked cheddar cheese.
With a terrific taste of something totally different. They're the greatest things since sliced toast.
Drive in for a change at Sonic. This month, try our new chocolate-covered peanut butter shake made with Peter Pan peanut butter.
Send your packages in 2 days with FedEx to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 days with UPS to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 to 3 days with priority mail to lots of different places. You get the same price.
You know, $3.
So, what's your priority? Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
It's Wisconsin's big guy, Ron Dane, against Purdue's high-powered offense.
Purdue versus Wisconsin at 8:30 next Saturday on ESPN2.
This Heisman Classic moment is brought to you by the U.S. Postal Service. 1982, Herschel Walker finishes his career with all-time SEC records in rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and all-purpose yards on his way to becoming Georgia's second-ever Heisman Trophy winner. Oh, Kevin Falk within about just under 300 yards of what Herschel did when he won the Heisman. As you look at Champ Bailey on the sidelines, and you know, we were just talking to Adrian during the timeout. We'll try to get a report from him in a second on about the pace of the ball game and the fact that everybody is so into it that, you know, they're winded, but who cares? This is a great game to be a part of. Chad Holloman to kick it off for Georgia. And this goes through Faulkner's hand, or Falk. Let me try it again. Foster, number 22, it went through his hand. And let's try Adrian. Maybe I could say that. Adrian?
Ron, the pace of the game is, just as you described it, unbelievable. It affects both teams on both sides of the ball. So far, the only man who I haven't seen affected is the one who I thought was going to be affected by the fatigue, Champ Bailey for Georgia. I don't know just exactly how many plays he has gone so far, but they have kept him out of that decoy role, and he does get his hands on the ball when he's on offense. Now he's back on defense, looking as fresh as he did when he started the game.
Well, the interesting thing, Adrian, that he is not winded, and he's been an impact on both sides of the ball already in this first half. Play action. Tyler gets away somehow, and is still loose, loses the ball, and it looks as though LSU has recovered. Orantis Grant is the man who took his feet out from under him.
And you see Herb Tyler, what he's saying right there, the coach is, I need to cover up the football a little bit more. He just stripped it. Orantis Grant, number 58, with the strip. But again, a big play by the senior quarterback, Herb Tyler. He was 4 of 5 in the first quarter, and he's made good decisions.
Well, that right there, Mike, is a first down. He picks up 11 yards and could have been sacked.
For a 10-yard loss.
It was Rovich, number 33. He was back there coming after him. Ball, good heavens, what hit at the line of scrimmage. You could hear that thing up here. And Boss Bailey, and guess whose brother that is? He is the younger brother of Champ Bailey. He's a freshman out of Folkestone, Georgia. And the folks in Folkestone who are watching this thing tonight can get a little excited about number 45.
And, Ron, that's what I was saying about Georgia. They're a young football team. They've recruited well. They've locked up the state of Georgia. And they have a young ball club that is only going to get better. You better get them this year if you're going to beat them.
I'll tell you, if you mind Jim Donnan, if there are any more Baileys coming up, I try to sign them right now. That is a heck of a bloodline.
Even if they're 4 years old,
I
just
don't
sign a
care.
scholarship.
That's exactly right. Just go ahead and get that commitment.
Dead ball foul. False start against the offense. Movement in the line prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
So it'll be 2nd and 15. Larry Beal, what do you have for us?
Hey, Ron, maybe a letdown for Nebraska after their big win over Washington last week. D'Angelo Evans in the backfield. Hello, Raymond Cato and all of his friends. Oklahoma State leading 3-0, and Ricky Williams 122 yards and 12 carries. Longhorns up 21-0.
You know, Larry, the interesting thing, Oklahoma State sold that game. That game was supposed to be in Stillwater. As you look at Mealy, breaks it big, and he's going to take it out of the 40 and pick up the first down. So Mealy has come in twice and had big runs when they have given Falk a breather.
Tommy Banks led a good block there on the linebacker, and that sprung Rondell Mealy. When you see an tailback do the things that Rondell Mealy and Kevin Falk are doing, you're usually going to find a fullback blocking very well, and that's Tommy Banks.
One other statement about Oklahoma State. They sold that game for $1.3. They said they needed the money for gender equity. Mike, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be surprised. Oklahoma State was my pick to win the South in the Big 12. They're a good football team.
Plus, they get a win. They get to solve gender equity, too.
Mealy carries it for a gain of a couple. What I had to get everybody's attention, is Mississippi State, who has Johnson, a great running back, and is a good football team. And Oklahoma State got them a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Wore them out in Stillwater.
About to go under 7 minutes left to play in this first half. Georgia 21, LSU 14. And if you've just joined us, folks, this is the 6th possession of the night. Georgia's had it 3 times. They've scored 3 times. LSU scored the first 2 times they had it. They're trying to duplicate that feat. And we have 6:45 left until intermission. Tyler reverses it, got him open, throws it complete, and what a grab by Baggett. I beg your pardon, Kipps, 85 rather than 82. Went high in the air and got his legs taken out from under him.
Well, Ron, when you have a good running game with Kevin Falk and Rondale Mealy, and you drag this play right like this, and you drag him over there, the linebackers get lost. Kyle Kipps, tight ends right behind the linebackers. Quentin Davis made the tackle. You have to respect the run when you got Falk and Mealy in there.
Might consider this for LSU. DiMaggio, the huge one we saw last year, the 6'7", 270-pounder, tore up a knee in the spring. They'll have him back as a true sophomore next year at tight end. Tyler keeps it, takes it to the 40, gain of 3. Hollingshead and Brandon Miller combining in the stop.
You talk about 2 great quarterback performances in this first half. When you look at Quincy Carter's numbers, and then you go right back to Herb Tyler, what he's accomplishing for his ball club, neither quarterback making any big mistakes. They're just answering the challenge. It might turn out just like you said. One time one scores, the other one comes down and scores. Now this is LSU's time to answer.
Between the 2 quarterbacks, also if you just joined us, we have had 1 incomplete pass. That's it. Carter's perfect. Tyler's only missed 1. Got him right over the middle. It's Booty. Inside the 25, and he's down to the 23.
And Ron, one of the reasons you see the numbers like you do for the quarterbacks is no pressure on the quarterbacks. The pass protection, you see it right here, is excellent, and Abram Booty gets a chance to open up against Jeff Harris. So the offensive lines are to be commended on both teams because they're not letting anybody close to the quarterback.
Look at these numbers, 14 of 14, 8 of 9, and between the 2 of them, 295 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. That's incredible. Nice job defensively. Leroy came across and just destroyed the play. Big number 94, the 297-pound senior out of Albany, Georgia.
Ron, the reason he made this play is he broke up the line of scrimmage and then pursued down the line of scrimmage. There he comes right here, and he's playing. Once he flattened, he made the tackle on Rondale Mealy. That's the way to play as a defensive lineman. Flatten once you get pursuit, and flatten right down the line with the offensive lineman.
It also shows what you can do if you weigh 100 pounds more than the man you're tackling. Just threw him down like a very light sack of potatoes. Well, Tyler does what he has to do, and that is call a timeout. You could see the play clock was down to 1 second, so we'll take it with him. There's a break in the action. 4:22 until halftime. LSU and Georgia, a good one.
This simple-looking device.
Hi there. I'm a single bag, just out here looking for a lunch date. There are 2 of you. Jackpot. Can I interest you in a great deal? It's only 99 cents. Oh, nice hands. Perfect for a 99-cent grab-and-go sandwich. Deliciously crunchy fish or chicken at a great price. Just 99 cents from Long John Silver's. Okay, now, smile and say 99 cents.
There comes a point in your life when you outgrow those cute little pickups, at which time you might want to consider something a little more adult. A truck that can run rings around compacts. Dodge Dakota, with more room and more available towing, payload, and power. Magnum power. Dakota. It's time to put away the toys. AC Delco rapid-fire spark plugs? They'll give you quicker throttle response and smoother idle, no matter what you drive. AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Quincy Carter on the sideline, the 20-year-old freshman, 6'3", 225 pounds. He's from Decatur. He and Herb Tyler having as good a first halves for quarterbacks as you could just possibly hope for. And both offensive lines have been outstanding against good defensive fronts. Second down. They need to take it to the 13. Here comes pressure. Tyler didn't feel it, and he goes down, and that's Richard Seymour, a 290-pound sophomore out of Gadsden, South Carolina. And let's check in on the sideline with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, still comparing these two quarterbacks. Perhaps the only young man in America who can go out in the backyard and really portray Quincy Carter and have someone believe it is Herb Tyler. And that's exactly what he did this week in practice here at LSU. The first-string quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in America, goes down with a scout team and works with the reserve players to give the first-string defense for LSU the best look possible. The best man to mimic Carter is Herb Tyler.
Well, it's a great point, Adrian, and it's hard to get off the scout team a true look at the kind of speed and quickness that you're going to face. And I'm sure he helped that defense immeasurably. Third down. Stepping up, drills it deep over the middle, and Booty dropped it. It hit him right in the hands, and that would have been enough for the first down +4. It's not Tyler's fault. That ball should have been caught.
Yeah, he threw it right on the money. Abram Booty had a shot at it, but the play before, Ron, when Richard Seymour made the sack, that's the first time pressure by Georgia. Jeff Harris on coverage right there. First time we're going to see a punter in the football game.
First time that we'll see a punt. Jeremy Witten is the pooch kicker, and in watching him on Thursday in practice, he is outstanding at this. Flag is down. Pitched it for the sideline, and he got it out of bounds just around the 15-yard line, it would appear. Now the official is still walking up to the 16.5. Now let's see what the marker is about.
Punt out of bounds at the 16-yard line.
Well, procedure against LSU.
I think I'd take the ball right here, Ron, not give him a chance to pin me inside the 10.
Jim Donovan's got to think I was pretty lucky on that one. Not a bad job by Witten, but certainly not his best.
Illegal procedure.
So for the first time tonight on 6 possessions, one of the teams did not score. LSU, the first one that has to kick the football. And with 3:20 remaining until halftime, it is Georgia by 7, and they get the ball deep in their own territory at the 16.5. If you're Georgia, you would love to have insurance points. But on the other hand, you don't want to do something foolish and give it back to the Tigers on your end of the football field.
Good play selection here, Ron. That's what we've been talking about. Both teams, 14 rushes, 15 passes.
There goes the tight end again, Larry Brown. Bounces off 2 tacklers. And let's check in with Larry Beal. Larry?
Yeah, I got a baseball update for you. Red Sox and Indians runners at first and third in the 8th for David Justice. Connecting off of Tom Gordon. It's a double. Lofton and Vizquel score 2-1 Cleveland. That's the final score. Tribe win the series. Will play the Yanks in the ALCS.
All righty. You know, Mike, that part of the ballpark, you got to hit it. It's out of majority of the ballparks in the majors, and right there, it bounces onto the wall.
And that's no prize draw on the Yankees.
No, that's for sure. This is Orlandis Gary, and Gary will fight his way to around the 28-yard line. The clock is running at 2:35. It'll stop momentarily because of the first down. And look at these numbers. Quincy Carter. Remember last year on January the 1st, the numbers, as you look at Carter's, 15 of 15. But the Georgia record is 19, and that was our game, Georgia against Wisconsin in the Outback last year, when Bobo hit 19 straight. And we said that day that would never be broken.
Yeah, Barry Alvarez remembers that.
Very probably could have given us that number. You're right. Draw play. Flag comes down. That's going to be holding called against Georgia, as Gary will have a gain of 6 on the play. Jamal Hill stopping. That one was tossed by the umpire immediately, and that is normally, yep, that call right there, because he is, as Mike said, watching the interior lineman.
Now we're on the decision you have to make if you're Jim Donnan. Now do you want to turn it up a little bit, or do you just want to sit on this lead? I felt before this penalty that he'd stay aggressive, because you don't want to harness your offensive football team when they're coming out like Georgia is. Don't want all of a sudden going to shell.
We just got where Mark Roman has 11 tackles in this first half for LSU. The free safety out of New Iberia. That's incredible. Well, the other thing you got to deal with if you don't pick up the first down, you got first and many here. If you punt it, you have to punt to Falk, which is something that Jim Donnan doesn't want to do. Caught it, but he caught it out of bounds. That is great concentration by Thad Parker, but a nice job of coverage defensively for the LSU Tigers, and it'll be second down and many.
And Ron, that stops the clock a little bit. LSU still has 1 timeout left, so they should get the ball back if they can stop him. Quincy Carter, I mean, he has been on fire. Most of his throws have been inside of 15. That's the first one that he's thrown incomplete. He did complete that, just out of bounds.
That's right. That field had been 54 yards wide, and he'd still have the string going. So Bobo's record is intact, and I have a feeling will be for a long, long time. Second down. They're going to take it all the way out to the 38-yard line to pick up the first. I think the 25-second clock went off, or went down, as flags come from everywhere.
Dead ball foul, delay of the game against the offense, violation of the 25-second clock, 5-yard penalty.
What happened?
Still second down.
What happened on that play was the wide receiver was uncovered. He made a motion to Quincy Carter like nobody's on me. So the uncovered receiver rule is the quarterback just raise up and throw the football to him. They just ran out of time.
Well, now it's second down and 30. We have 1:42 left until halftime. Carter rolls the pocket, and he's just going to run it. 15, 20, 25, gets out of bounds, and now they'll look at a third down and less than 10, as Mark Roman has just recorded his 12th tackle of the first half. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us, big guy?
Ron, consider the difference of the last 2 plays. What we just saw here is exactly what Georgia wants and needs to do. Get up to the line quickly, snap the ball quickly, so that the very cerebral defense of LSU, that is to say a defense who loves to look over that offense and take 15, 20 seconds to do so that they don't have the chance to do that, to read the offensive look and get into the right position. You can see the difference of the yard gain 2 plays ago and what Carter just did there.
Well, that's true. One of the things that Jim Donnan told us on Wednesday, they would try to effect that in this ball game. Carter. Incomplete at the 47. McFarland and Miller applying the pressure. And for the first time tonight, we'll see a punt from the University of Georgia.
That play just broke up. It took too long for Quincy Carter, and he ran out of room because he rolled to the short side of the field.
Standing ovation for this LSU defense. And now, let's see if Jim Donnan carries out his plan, because he just told us point blank, I will not kick to Falk. I'll kick it out of bounds. John England stands back waiting for the snap. End over end, and he did just what he said. He kicked it out of bounds. Listen to the boos from the crowd. Only a 28-yard kick. And let's check in with Larry Beal. Larry?
Hey, I wouldn't kick it to him either. Coming up on the Buick halftime report, all around the SEC, highlights of Tennessee and Auburn. We've also got the Huskers in a struggle at the half, and the game day gang all over Penn State and Ohio State. That's coming up.
Okay, Larry, our situation, 21-14, Georgia.
When you do that, Ron, you give great field position. LSU has one timeout now, 1:21, and a veteran quarterback, so they ought to be able to milk this time.
It looked as though Grant might have been calling for a timeout for Georgia just before the ball was snapped. And it is a timeout charged against Georgia, so we'll take it with him. 1:20 remaining until halftime. We'll be right back.
The University of Georgia has assembled a world-class teaching and research faculty on a campus with an established tradition of excellence. I'm Michael Adams. As president of America's first chartered state university, I'm committed to moving this institution to even greater levels of achievement. The future of our nation begins with the education of our youth. Please join me as we prepare the University of Georgia for another great century of service.
At LSU, our vision is simple. We look at what can make life better, and we improve it. We search for answers. We challenge the mind. From advances in business, technology, and the environment, to contributions in health, education, and the arts, at Louisiana State University, enriching lives is what we do.
Well, we're back and part of the packed house here in Baton Rouge tonight, enjoying what all of us have enjoyed. This has just been a heck of a football game. 21-14, only 2 punts in the first half. And this guy right here has had to say, as you look at Quincy Carter on the sideline, but Champ Bailey, both sides of the football, has really been outstanding.
It's been a great football game to watch, Ron, and I'm not sure that 27-yard punt's not going to come back to haunt Georgia right here. It's something to kick away from Kevin Falk, but you want to knock it down the field a little bit more than 27 yards. Now,
I think what happened is, just like what happened with the LSU kicker just a moment ago, it wasn't exactly his best effort. He was trying to knock it out down around the 25-yard line.
No, but sometimes you can do something out of the ordinary and get caught by it. And LSU, again, senior leadership in that quarterback position may make Georgia pay for that.
Total yards in the first half, Georgia 294 in the first half and 188 for the LSU Tigers.
Larry Foster's had a big half here. Let's see if they go to him.
First down to 10 to the shotgun. Stunt inside. The pass is thrown high. And that was Reggie Robinson that they were looking for. Larry Mann with the cover. The other route that has been very, very good for LSU is Foster and Booty on the same side and running Booty underneath after Foster drives deep.
Yeah, they had them both on the same side to the wide side of the field, but they tried to come back to the short side of the field to Reggie Robinson and Kevin Falk out of the backfield. Now let's see if they work Foster and Abram Booty on the wide side of the field.
Get it off to Falk. He'll get what he can and get out of bounds. And that's good for the first down, I believe, at the 46. Corey Robinson makes the stop, and we have 67 seconds left.
Well, the coach, Morris Watts, up here in the press box is looking down. He watched the first play where they tried to get the ball to Reggie Robinson. He had Kevin Falk open in the flat. Came right back with the same play. Figured if Kevin Falk gets the ball out in the flat against one defensive player, that's a pretty good odds for us.
He picked up 12 yards.
Yep, no question about that. It's a gain of 12. And he did get out of bounds. So 1:07 until halftime. And he is inside the 20 and out of bounds at the 18. 27 yards.
Yeah, you can't give, when offenses are hot, I don't think you can give away field position. And the field position on that 27-yard punt, the respect for Kevin Falk, they have allowed LSU to use the clock, and they still have one timeout left.
Well, the clock is whistled back in. He did not get out of bounds. The chains are set, under 50 to play, and now whistles all over the place. Maybe the whistles are because the chains were not completely set. Nope. Georgia has called a timeout.
They have only 10 players on the field.
Georgia, their last timeout of the first half.
Tigers have one timeout. Bulldogs, none.
Well, next week, a great Saturday primetime game for you. Herb Tyler, the target of Florida's revenge. Well, this touchdown run last year led the way to LSU's huge upset right here at Tiger Stadium over the then #1 ranked Gators. Game day starts you at 11 Eastern, followed by Indiana-Michigan State, and then at 7 Eastern. It is LSU against the Florida Gators in a game that you don't want to miss. Mike, Adrian, and myself will be down in Gainesville next Saturday evening.
That coach down in Gainesville has something about revenge games. He looks forward to the next time you come down there.
Louisiana Tech, 63.
Look at this last year. Tyler, 10 of 17, 172 yards in a game against Florida. And, you know, one of the guys that is not back that chose to go early, but in looking at that promo we showed just now, Fanica, the guard, as we went back and looked at it, Mike, he blocked 3 individual people as he went down the field, just in succession. An All-American that obviously they missed, think if he were back this year.
Oh, he was an outstanding offensive lineman.
So time is back in. It is first down with 49 seconds left until halftime. LSU trying to tie it at 21. Tyler runs up into the pocket, and he's going to be stopped at the 15-yard line, and that's Robich who reaches out and makes the tackle.
And this is a key for what Joe Kynes does on defense. He substitutes defensive linemen, 12 defensive linemen for 4 positions to keep them fresh.
Under 30 seconds. Now, LSU does have 1 timeout left, and they're trying to save it. As Tyler runs for his life, throws for the end zone, and that one hit our camera.
Just threw it away.
There's on the boom, the ball hit it in flight.
There was nothing open. He was trying to get the ball to Kevin Falk and Reggie Robinson on the short side of the field again.
Well, he was right on the mark.
He got a Cupid dog.
Right on the limbs. I hope it still works. Steve hopes it works also. 21 seconds left. It is going to be third down, and the line to make is the 8-yard line. 1 of 2 on third down conversions tonight as you look at Joe Kynes, the defensive coordinator for the Bulldogs. Blitz right up the middle, and this pass is caught for the touchdown on the count.
I think Reggie Robinson,
he got it, but it was Foster who the pass was intended for, and he got it on the carry. Tries to tie it up with 14 seconds left, and he does. Well, there's an old saying that when things go right, they go right. And watch on this play was not intended for Reggie Robinson because the defender was there and Foster was there, but watch what happens.
So he's trying to get the ball to number 22, Larry Foster. And there's Reggie Robinson, number 47 with the catch.
And that official standing right underneath the goalpost with the perfect view, and he says, yes, sir. He's in bounds. He has control. It is touchdown, LSU Tigers.
They made him pay for the bad punt. Gave him too good of field position with the time on the clock.
6 plays, 57 yards, 1:06 to score. And we still have 14 seconds left. And this full house has just been rocking and rolling from the opening kickoff, and there's no reason to believe it will not continue to do it for 30 minutes. What a ball game.
And Wansley inside the 5.
Looking in the eyes of Champ Bailey. Tim Wansley is back there with him, number 2, as Danny Boyd prepares to kick it off. Now this is a knuckler. They're going to get it at the 35-yard line. So LSU airs as they give the ball back to the Georgia Bulldogs. And, of course, no time comes off the clock. So 14 seconds left.
And, Ron, I want to go back to the punt. Georgia didn't want to kick the ball to number 3, Kevin Falk. So now you tell your kicker to kick away, but he got a short 27-yard kick, went out of bounds, gave too good a field position for this LSU offense for 1:28 to go. And here's what the payday is. Looks like a bank shot to Reggie Robinson.
Every golfer in the audience looked at that punt and said, shank. And that's exactly what he did. It was good for only 27 yards, and it cost him. See if Georgia tries to answer or just goes in with a conservative reply. Carter got him open and throws it to Champ Bailey. He will step out of bounds at around the 48.5-yard line.
I like this strategy by Jim Dine. I'll tell you why. Because sometimes you ought to automatically say there's 14 seconds. Let's just kill the clock and go in. But he has an offense that's the aggressor tonight. And he doesn't want to put the blanket on him. He wants to keep him aggressive because he knows in the second half he's going to need a bunch of scores to beat this LSU football team. I like the strategy. He's working for 3 right here.
Well, Hap Hines, 54 yards is his career long. Now, Georgia does not have a timeout left. Quick pass, they got it to Bailey, and he runs it back into the field of play and then gets out of bounds at the 35. So this would be, with 1 second left, if they elect to go for the field goal, a 52-yard field goal attempt.
LSU was in a prevent defense on that last play. They were truly guarding the goal line.
So Bailey brought it back into the middle of the field, realized he was not going to be able to pick up anymore. He used the clock and runs out of bounds with 1 tick left. So Hines comes in, and this is going to be placed down. Quincy Carter is the holder. A 52-yard attempt. And now LSU's going to try to ice him. So they call their final timeout.
Both teams out.
ESPN Sunday Night Football. Warren Moon and the Seattle Seahawks, looking for a win after 7 straight losses at Arrowhead Stadium, face the Kansas City Chiefs at 8:15. Then ABC's Monday Night Football. Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers take on the explosive Minnesota Vikings in a battle of unbeatens from the NFC Central. ESPN and ABC, exclusive homes of primetime NFL football. So nobody's got any timeouts left. Hap Hines went out 1 time, and they got it set for a 52-yard attempt. Then the timeout was called.
The hot dog stands and the restrooms are going to be busy at halftime because nobody's left here in the first half.
That's for sure. So Carter is back on. No field goal attempt here. They erased it, and they'll go for it with 1 second left, and he throws for the end zone. Bailey is down there, and it is incomplete. Damian Woods with the cover. We are at halftime. What a first half. As they head to the locker room, our score at halftime is LSU 21 and Georgia 21. Now with the Buick halftime report, let's rejoin Larry Beal. Larry?
All right, thanks, Ron. Well, I feel like I played that half. Coach John Makovic joins me now for the Buick halftime report. You know, a lot of people may be concerned about the freshman Quincy Carter in vaunted Death Valley. The only people worried about him now are the guys trying to tackle him.
Oh, absolutely. Jim Donnan and his staff get A+ on the first half game plan. Short passes, quarterback draws, rollout runs, excellent.
Oh, fun game to watch. If you like defense and tough hitting, don't watch this one, okay? Because there's too many points. Speaking of points, Tennessee in action today in a struggle. Same with Florida, plus the top-ranked team in the nation, Ohio State and Penn State, coming up next.
Nobody loves cars more than I do. Each one is a work of art. So when the maker of all these chose a new antifreeze, It got my attention.
General Motors now uses the deck school technology of Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze in virtually all its new vehicles. The same patented formula you can use in your car for 5 years or 150,000 miles. So do what GM did. Switch to Haviland.
I use it in my car. I only wish this were it.
My job is to compare products. And it's not often that I'm surprised. So when Head & Shoulders went up against the leading prescription brand, I expected the prescription to be better, but it isn't. A study proves Head & Shoulders is effective against dandruff. I found out there's a microscopic fungus associated with dandruff, and Head & Shoulders helps kill it. Helps stop flakes before they even start. Not even the expensive prescription works better. You may never see flakes again. I don't.
At Plank Road, we don't do everything well. Fortunately, beer is something we do well. Ice Hops, thanks, and enjoy.
A great tradition is reborn on ESPN2. Friday Night Fights, showcasing today's best boxing along with classic bouts of the past. This week, Tate takes on Telesto, plus part 2 of the Muhammad Ali retrospective. Friday Night Fights, Friday at 8 on ESPN2.
This halftime report is presented by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Isn't it time for a real car?
Hope you're having a good evening, everybody. Larry Beal, along with the coach, John Makovic. If you're an SEC football fan, this is the day. You sit back, you get the remote, picture-in-picture, all day and all night. Tons of highlights to show you. We'll start on what we call SEC Showdown Saturday, Tennessee and Auburn. Oh, look at that. Ben Lear trying to make the pitch, picked off by Sean Ellis, and the big guy goes 85 yards with a whole bunch of friends, making sure he's safe and comfy. Nobody get near him. Touchdown, 7-0 Tennessee. Like I said, all fouls early. Jamal Lewis bursting up the middle, then scampers down the strip, 67 yards for the touchdown to make it 14-0 Tennessee. Auburn with the ball, 2 seconds left, trailing by 8 into the end zone. Carson Bailey could not come up with it. Defenders all over him. And Auburn in anguish as they lose 17-9. Vols now 4-0. Lewis 140 yards. A tough one.
Yes, Auburn has some real needs at quarterback. They need questions answered. It may be that Gabe Gross is the man now.
Having a hard time scoring points. Florida and Auburn. They got 2 quarterbacks to the Gators. Jesse Palmer to Travis McGriff, who had a huge day today. Florida up 13-3. 28 seconds left, 4th quarter. Bama down 16-10. Andrew Zhao. Zhao is in. Wow. To Calvin Hall at the Florida 34. Steve Spurrier is sweating it out in a 6-point game. 19 seconds left. Freshman mistake picked off as Zhao throws it into the hands of Tony George. 16-10. Gators survive. McGriff, 213 yards and a touchdown. Steve Spurrier not happy, though.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, Steve Spurrier may be the only coach in the country who can keep 2 of them happy at the same time.
Or unhappy, because both of them want to play. Kentucky and Arkansas. Tim Couch. Look at the touch to Craig Yeast. 7-0. Kentucky. Arkansas countering. Clint Sterner to Chris Chikuma. And back to Sterner for the 24-yard gain. Chikuma then takes the handoff. Boy, with Madre Hill alongside, the Hogs have some back. 7-7. Couch going to the air again. Remember, he threw the ball 61 times last week. Quentin McCord goes up and gets it. 14-7 Kentucky at the half. And Couch, again, skyward. Lance Mickelson to make it 20-10 Kentucky. Arkansas just back in to the top 25. If they lose to the Cats, they'll be right back out again. Kentucky leading by a touchdown. South Carolina, oh, another tough loss for Brad Scott. Ole Miss gets him by a deuce. TCU leading Vandy 10-0, and they're at halftime. Nebraska in a struggle with Oklahoma State. Bobby Newcomb, oh, his pass is knocked down by Clinton Metcalf. The Husker offense just can't get anything positive happening. Later in the 2nd quarter, it's Newcomb again, back to pass, surrounded by a sea of orange and thrown down by Courtney Mallory. 3-3 game at the half. Consider the last time Nebraska lost to Oklahoma State. Kennedy was in the White House. Maris had just hit homer number 61. And you have to wonder about a possible letdown for Nebraska after the big win last week over Washington, Coach.
Absolutely. And you know, when you have a team like Nebraska that's so used to winning, sometimes they play up or down to the level of play. The problem with that is sometimes you underestimate the level of your opponent.
Well, they're in a battle right now, no question about that. It was a battle today in Columbus, in the rain. Top-ranked Ohio State couldn't really get the aerial game going. Defense and special teams were the story. We're coming right back.
Hey, when it comes to the weekend, we figure it's time for kicking back. Yeah, right.
Now there's a car that helps your supercharged family take leisure to a new extreme. The supercharged Regal GS. Besides having more standard safety features than any car in its class, Regal also has room for 5 very supercharged people and all their supercharged toys. And now, Regal comes with something that'll make it even easier to drive. The Regal GS by Buick, official car of the supercharged family.
My cousin Al still swears he never gets enough to eat. So tonight we did the only thing we could. We took him back to the Olive Garden for more of their never-ending pasta bowl. Now they added a new pasta, rigatoni and spicy arrabbiata sauce. You pick any of the special pastas you like, and you get all the free refills you want, plus all the salad and breadsticks. The food keeps coming, and the fork keeps going until you say when for $6.95. Now, I'm not sure, but I think my cousin Al just said when. Are you Ron? Yes, I am. The Olive Garden. When you're here, your family.
Some people call it retirement planning. I think of this as future construction. Year by year, block by block, until...
It's our dream house.
Beautiful. But I was hoping we could afford to travel. This plan can help make it happen. We can even make sure you've got worry-free income for life.
AXA, dynamic vision, equitable, a trusted resource. Call us. Equitable is a member of the global AXA group.
Welcome back to the halftime report. Biggest game of the day, no question. You have the top-ranked team in the country in Ohio State in the rain. Ugly conditions as they took on Penn State. Last year was 31-27, and Penn State was able to get them. We'll see this year. Oh, the rain was the problem. Right there, Kevin Thompson loses the ball. Jerry Rodzinski falls on it. Ohio State leading 7-3. Again, neither team could really get much offense going because of the conditions. Joe Germain here just before halftime to Michael Wiley. Ohio State leading 14-3 at the half. The coach is banging on the glass. Punched a hole in it after that Wiley touchdown. Penn State punter, Pat Pigeon. Pigeonholed, blocked by Percy King. Joe Cooper, touchdown Buckeyes. They do win it by a final score of 28-9 to stay unbeaten. For more on this game, the game day crew, led by Chris Fowler in Columbus.
Larry, thank you. Paterno won't win many games when his offense rushes for 79 yards, so credit Ohio State's defense. And after some early troubles with the weather in the soppy field, Germain was sharp, throwing darts.
Chris, I was impressed with Joe Germain in person. I think he's the Bob Greasy of 1998. I think he can lead this football team to a national championship. If Ohio State is going to win it, Germain's going to be the key. But if they lose it, the place-kicking situation is dangerous for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, Brian Greasy, the way he was a leader last year, the same way this year with Joe Germain. He did make great adjustments. I thought the key to the game, and if you didn't see this game, Penn State coming in very young did a very nice job of taking over and taking the crowd out of the game. They controlled the line of scrimmage. It was a big turn of events when Thompson dropped the ball in the end zone. Jerry Rodzinski jumped on top of it. Penn State came back, ended up punting to Ohio State. They came right back before the halftime to go up 14-3. So instead of being down going into the locker room, all of a sudden they're up by 11 points. Big turn of events, and that was the ball game.
And a fairly soft part of the schedule coming up for Ohio State. Meanwhile, Buckeyes, after losing 7 first-place votes to Nebraska in the polls this week, they might gain him back. That's assuming Nebraska can even hold on in Arrowhead against Oklahoma State. This was the opening drive of the second half. It was 3-3 at the break. A couple big passes by Bobby Newcomb got him down close. Then he gets in the end zone, and this is how you might expect, guys, Nebraska to respond after 44 yards total offense in the first. That's the lowest total I can probably in decades.
Ever. They get that in the pregame warm-up. Let me tell you one thing about this Nebraska football team, though. I think after seeing them last week and now watching this film, if you put 8 guys up there and force Bobby Newcomb to beat you at the pass, you got a chance. they'll only score 30. If you don't, they'll score 60.
Disagree with that. I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think Oklahoma State, you're right, they did control the line and overpower people up front. But the thing about this game was Nebraska came out flat. They didn't come to play football. D'Angelo Evans told me on Wednesday night he didn't feel real good about this game. I think a lot of that had to do with Oklahoma State had 2 weeks to get ready.
This is not a Nebraska team that's quite as dominant up front. I know they blew out Washington, but week in, week out, they have to play with some of that same fire. Speaking of fire, your guy Quincy Carter in the game we're watching here in the first half.
If he could play defense now, like with Champ Bailey, maybe they'd have a chance to stop LSU.
He's the best, boy. He's good. Nobody like him.
Keep telling yourself the guy is a freshman.
Oh, can't be.
My man.
Can't be.
My man.
Georgia and Tennessee, a lot to talk about next week. Showdown Saturday in the SEC. Meanwhile, the party continues here in Columbus. The Buckeyes looking to strengthen their hold on the top ranking and very closely watching that Nebraska game that's going on right now. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, guys, you're talking about Quincy Carter. Another fun guy to watch, and you well know it, is Ricky Williams. Williams, the talented Texas running back, is wearing number 37 on his helmet tonight in honor of Doak Walker, the former SMU star who passed away this week. And Ricky Williams is running wild, 68 yards down the sideline as the Longhorns have taken a 21-0 lead over Iowa State, and it is now 30-13 at the half. Look at the numbers for Ricky Williams, $179 and 2 touchdowns. Here are the records he is chasing. The touchdown records set by Anthony Thompson. Tony Dorsett has the all-time rushing mark, and Ricky needs about 1,000 yards. 170 yards per game is roughly the average, and the coach, the question is, can he get it?
Ricky Williams can break every record. I have no problem thinking about his being able to do anything. But he'd better get his rushing yardage early, because 3 of his last 4 games are against tough defenses. Texas Tech, Texas A&M, and Nebraska, and they will not give up yards quite as easily.
Yeah, he's going to get more yards tonight. We know about that. Buick Halftime Report continues. More scores when we come back in just a moment.
Do you have trouble driving in the...
I'm crazy. Bicycle Company, the new professional full-service bike shop located in downtown Rome. Well, I'm crazy. Your best choice for bicycles with Fisher, Diamondback, Giant, Cannondale, and Le Mans. Well, I'm crazy. Offers a full line of clothing and Giro helmets for women and men, cycling shoes from CD, Northwave, and Vans, and professional service from our plumb crazy staff that includes fully certified bike mechanics. Well, I'm crazy. 217 East 1st Street, Rome, Georgia. Give us a call at 291-7111.
Hi there. I'm a single dad, just out here looking for a lunch date. There are 2 of you. Jackpot. Can I interest you in a great deal? It's only 99 cents. Oh, nice hands. Perfect for a 99-cent grab-and-go sandwich. Deliciously crunchy fish or chicken at a great price. Just 99 cents from Long John Silver's. Okay, now, smile and say 99 cents.
The Buick Halftime Report. More highlights. Florida State and Maryland. Bobby Bowden looking on. No score in the first quarter. Chris Wenke, who's rebounded nicely after that 6-pick game a few weeks ago, hasn't thrown an interception since. In traffic, Lavernius Coles takes a hit and takes it into the end zone. 16-10 Florida State. Florida State defense. Randall Jones hit in the end zone by Roland Seymour. The fumble, Maryland on it. And Florida State wins it by a final 24-10. 5 field goals by Sebastian Janikowski. Arizona State, Chad Elliott to Kenny Mitchell for the touchdown against Southern Cal, and they're at the half in that game, 17-7 Sun Devils. UCLA big over Washington State. Cade McNown not great numbers as the Bruins cruise to victory 49-17, redemption from a year ago. More scores, Southern Miss and Tulane. The Green Wave, that's Lee Corso's team these days. They stay unbeaten 21-7. Sean King did play despite the broken wrist. Miami and Marshall, that's Miami of Ohio. Even without the Super Freak, Marshall still wins it. Randy Moss in the NFL. The Thundering Herd thunders on, up 11 at the half.
It is a place where power isn't flaunted, but instead
And when you look at the third down conversions, 4 of 6, so not many mistakes. They just keep moving the ball. Which team's going to run out of gas?
You know, it is really amazing that of all the stats we talked about, but you brought up, no miscues, no turnovers in that first half. Hahnemann will kick it off. LSU had won the toss at the beginning of the game and deferred. And here we started off. And again, he tries to keep it away from Falk. And it's Falk who gets the football. And he's off and running. 35, 40, and out to the 45-yard line. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, out of both locker rooms, both coaches are resigned to the fact that offensively this is going to be a wild football game, and when they have the ball, that's the way they're going to take it. But Jim Donnan says we need to shore things up on defense. Our linebackers have been too many times dropping into coverage, man-to-man coverage. He also is concerned about his defensive line because of the 8 to 10-man rotation. What have been 4- and 5-yard pickups, if they need to play the entire second half, they could turn into 9- and 10-yard pickups.
Falk gets the handoff, spins around in the backfield, and that's a great job by Seymour, number 93. Richard getting the start tonight ahead of Paul Snelling. And let's look at the comparison of the quarterbacks in that first half of play.
Ron, again, you can't be better than they have been in the first half. And one, the veteran Herb Tyler, and one, the young guy, Quincy Carter, that's going to be around for a long time. Maybe the best young quarterback in the country.
I'm wondering if Quincy is having a stiff lower back or something. He's really been stretching him out over on the sideline. Pressure. Tyler steps up, and he's going to be sacked, and that's 94 Leroy. A Marlis Leroy, a senior out of Albany, Georgia, and it's twice that they've gotten to Tyler tonight.
And that's the thing Joe Kynes, I'm sure, talked about at halftime. We've got to get some pressure on the quarterback, and it's going to be the same thing for LSU and Slew Tepper. You want to pressure the quarterbacks when they got a hot hand. And Marlis Leroy, the 6'2 senior, beat Todd McClure, the center. And he keeps rolling those defensive linemen in so that they're fresh in the fourth quarter to chase the quarterback.
So let's see what the Tigers come up with. Can they convert to open the second half? It's third down, and they need the 45 of Georgia. Tyler zings it. Well overthrown, and LSU will have to punt to open this third quarter. It's going to be 3 and out. So some alterations defensively for the Bulldogs. Let's see if the Tigers answer defensively.
And Ron, good adjustments at halftime. Josh Mallard, number 98, who's the sack leader for Georgia, put pressure on Herb Tyler. So he had pressure on him on that series.
Gibbs to kick it away. Michael Greer is the deep man. He stands back at the 20-yard line. Tied at 21. Opening minute and a half of this third quarter. Fair catch called for and is made at the 24. So it's a 36-yard punt and nothing on the return.
Seat prices, courtesy of one of tonight's game sponsors, Associated Food Stores.
Ron Champ Bailey had a great first half all over the field on offense. He plays on defense. He's 30. Special teams 9. When you total those up, I mean, he has been on the field. He's only had a few plays where he's been on the sideline to watch. And he's been a big part of the offense when he's been on. And LSU's picked on him a little bit on defense. They haven't gone away from him. They've thrown in his area.
Patrick Pass is the lone setback. of 20, 216 yards in the first half. And Carter swings it out to Larry Brown. He's going to be tackled for a loss by LeBlanc. Boy, that's like the 7th pass that tight ends for Georgia have caught tonight.
Well, they're really trying to just get a quick screen on the outside. It looks like Quincy Carter's looking over the defense to figure out if he can run inside against those linebackers. They moved out a little bit. He tried to get the ball to Larry Brown on a little screen on the outside.
Will not count as a pass. That's a rush because that was a lateral. The ball was away from the line of scrimmage, Mike. Second and 11. And here comes the blitz up the middle. Carter. This is amazing. The guy is 6'3" and almost 230. and not only gets out of harm's way, but picks up 15 extra yards.
And that's the strategy of Lou Tepper. He's going to heat up Quincy Carter a little bit more. They brought a linebacker on this play, but Quincy Carter, again, shows you his athletic ability. He steps up there, and they get pressure on him. They force him out of the pocket, and he made a smart move here, Ron, because he didn't go out of bounds. He wanted to pick up the first down. Looked like he was going to go out of bounds. Anthony McFarland after him. He hurdles, and, of course, Jim Donnan's holding his breath on the sideline to make sure he gets up.
And Booger made sure he fell on him, too, when he came down.
Brings the whole 290. A lot of cheeseburgers.
Oh, my. First down. Carter, deep set this time. Wanting Bailey, and Bailey was being held downfield. Goes to the other side, and that's going to be incomplete. Now, here comes the flag for pass interference. Cummings got tied up with Small.
And I think this is a good call, Ron.
Yeah.
And Tony Small did a wise thing. He kind of pulled up a little bit, which you tell your receivers sometimes to do, and if the ball's underthrown, let Chris Cummins run into him.
There is a second flag that's down. That could even be over on the side where Bailey was, because that defensive back looked like a Siamese twin on him. I mean, he was just inside his jersey.
Well, they're both almost together, those flags. So and one was a little late.
No.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct. Both penalties. It'll be first down and 10 yards to go.
So.
There's 2 penalties. Pass interference.
And Jerry said, what is this? That's unsportsmanlike conduct.
Against the Tigers, and unsportsmanlike conduct against Georgia.
Ball's trying to be thrown to Tony Small, and there's the interference. Almost face guarding on Chris Cummings, and it just didn't.
Watch Bailey right here, Mike, bottom of the screen. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, his arm. Was holding his arms behind him, and he was right there doing a good job. So, the 15-yard penalty for pass interference, and then 15 yards back, but it's a first down.
You almost think it had to be one of the players from Georgia saying something smart to the LSU player and the official hearing and making that call.
Yeah.
Public safety building. Canada Day, Ian Kirkland, Teresa Walsh.
Champ Bailey on the field again. You know that Lou Tepper holding his breath right now.
Nice job defensively, and he throws it away.
Shows you a little strength there, Ron. 6'3", 225. That's not passing, throwing the ball away. He threw it where the receiver was in the area.
Yeah, he had a receiver right underneath it, about 15 feet underneath it, but it went over his head anyway. If it were a field goal, it would have been good.
Jarius Green put the pressure on. 3 quarterback sacks coming into this ball game. Shows you a good leg strength.
Great job of staying at home, because you talk about back in the first quarter about how the defensive ends were going to have to stay at home because of the bootlegs.
2 good quarterbacks that can hurt you if you don't contain them.
Drills this one. He's got Larry Brown, and his big tight end is going to pick up the first down at the 49-yard line. Dunson is there hanging on to him, but Georgia will move the chains.
They have done a nice job talking about Jim Donnan in Georgia involving their tight ends in the offense. This is a tight end, Larry Brown, 87. They flex him out a little bit against a linebacker, and that's a pretty good match. I circled the wrong guy. He's on the outside. Thomas Dunson finally made the play. But a nice move and strategy by Jim Donnan.
4 catches, 43 yards. Pressure from behind, and a throwback screen, and that's Greer. And he'll have, I believe, the first down. Let's see where they spot him. Just very, very close, shy of the 40 as Woods makes the tackle.
Nothing frustrates a lineman more than Anthony McFarland came close to getting at Quincy Carter, but again, a quick screen play call just to wear down the defensive lineman. You're trying to get to the quarterback, and then all of a sudden the throw. You see Anthony McFarland trying to get a little bit of a breath.
No, they got it. So it's going to be first down, Georgia. The ball just shy of the 40-yard line. And you made an interesting point, Mike, just before we came out at halftime, or to start the second half, and that is who's going to wear out first. And with two mobile quarterbacks, you're seeing right there, Booger's down on one end, and he's winded because he's chasing a big guy who moves well. And I guess that's what it's going to come down to. Who gets tired first?
And I think that Georgia has the advantage to this point because they substitute more people in the defensive line than LSU does.
Georgia with 22 first downs now. Well, that's movement by Big Crest Terry over on the right side. Came out of that stance. Now, those kind of little things didn't happen in the first half. And one of the things that fatigue does is cause lack of focus, and that's all that is right there.
Still first down.
Bulldogs penalized 5 yards.
7 penalties, 67 yards against the Bulldogs.
And you look at Quincy Carter tonight, he has had, he sprayed this ball around to everybody. Tight ends, wide receivers. 13 of 15 to the wide receivers, 6 of 6 to the tight ends.
That's Bailey in motion. And a quarterback draws what they want to run, and he got away from it. Boy, he was dead in the water. He's going to pick up 5 yards on the play. Theo Williams finally makes the stop.
The worst thing about Quincy Carter is you're going to see him for 4 years.
Oh, boy.
The other coaches.
We had him first 3 weeks ago on ESPN2 against South Carolina. And we said that night that if you don't know the name, get to know the name because you'll hear a lot of it over the next 4 years. Well, tonight is really a coming out when you play a good team in the top 10 on foreign soil. Short drop, throws it complete to Parker. Just studded it right into his chest. Woods with the cover. Not much you can do about that one.
And go back to last week, last Saturday night, our ball game. I think Ronald Curry's going to be the same kind of quarterback. Yeah, once he gets settled in the offense, it's like the question you asked him, and you asked him about starting. He said it's Oscar Davenport's football team. Someday it's going to be his football team. Quincy Carter has the ability, Jim Donnan said, it's your team. So it's a little difference in North Carolina and Georgia, but Quincy Carter's at home.
20 of 24 for 251 for Carter. Pass back into the middle, and probably the most unwise pass that he has thrown. Dunson was right there, and he wanted Bailey coming back into the middle. And Georgia has a player who is down. And everybody just ran together there.
Thomas Dunson read that screen. He read Champ Bailey coming back inside from the snap of the football.
After the game, stop by McDonald's, conveniently located on the first floor of the LSU Union.
They're going to get a breather for McFarland as Lucky is down, and it's Miles Lucky. So we'll take a break. 9:40 remaining, third quarter. Georgia 21. LSU 21. We'll be right back.
Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service presents When All the Ballots Were Delivered. In 1961, this rugged halfback became the first African-American to win the Heisman Trophy. Can you name this outstanding college player?
Send your packages in 2 days with FedEx to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 days with UPS to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 to 3 days with Priority Mail to lots of different places. You get the same price. You know, $3.
So, what's your priority? Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
In 1961, when all the ballots were delivered, the Heisman Trophy winner was Ernie Davis of Syracuse. As the official delivery service for the Heisman Trophy, Priority Mail is proud to be sending out the ballots and delivering the vote.
Introducing a sports sedan that sets a new standard of performance, and a touring sedan that sets a new standard of luxury. Here they are. Introducing the new TL with the satellite linked navigation system from Acura.
ESPN's presentation of college football is brought to you by Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service and by the new 1999 TL Luxury Performance Pick 2. Welcome back to Baton Rouge. Total offense rushing 90 yards for Georgia, 71 LSU, 287 passing for Georgia, 169 Tigers. So it's 377 to 240 in total offense. We still got almost 10 minutes to play third quarter. Pass to Bailey, caught him in the middle, and he had the first down, then retreated as Roman makes still another tackle, and here comes Roman out of the ballgame, and he is limping, favoring his left ankle or knee. Now, we had him for 12 tackles in the first half, and we'll get a check on Mark Roman. Goes without saying, they can't have him on the sideline too long.
No, he'll be a big loss for this LSU secondary. Quincy Carter, another nice job. He waited for Champ Bailey to come open.
13 tackles, we're told, for Roman as he comes to the bench. Well, this one kind of doomed from the get-go. Kind of looked as though maybe he wanted to trail back. There was nobody.
No, I think it was a quarterback sweep all the way, but Jarvis Green, number 59, he didn't give him any place to make a move. He kind of sent the offensive line back into Quincy Carter's face. There was no chance to make any kind of cut on the play.
Second down.
But Champ Bailey stays in the ballgame, Ron. I'm amazed at the number of plays he's playing tonight on offense.
I have a feeling that the defensive coordinator, Mr. Kynes, is as well amazed. Boy, look at the pickup block. Deep over the middle, got a man there, and a touchdown to Tony Small. And Mike, the guy they threw it over was Clark, who had just come in replacing the injured Mark Roman.
And sometimes, you know, you come into the ball game and you're not warmed up. Ryan Clark, that was a jump ball is all that was. Tony Small just went up and grabbed it out of the sky and made that touchdown catch.
Half Hines with the extra point attempt. Got it. 8:16 remaining, third quarter, and our new score: the Bulldogs of Georgia 28, the Tigers of LSU 21.
I should have listened to my mother.
When you're lost, the Acura TL can help.
Destination on the left.
Gotta be a place that's still open.
No.
Yes, there.
Your kid. When a craving strikes, the TL can help. And when something comes between you and your destination, hospital, detour, the TL will get you there.
Keep right.
Introducing the new TL with the satellite-linked navigation system from Acura.
Rather go to a real race? During the Napa 500 Great Start Sweepstakes, you could win one of 8 trips to Daytona Speed Weekend, or the grand prize, a trip to Daytona, $10,000 cash, and be the honorary starter of the Napa Auto Parts 300. So come into any Napa Auto Parts store for details. Napa Power Battery, $32.99 after rebate.
At the Attic Vintage Clothing Store in Las Vegas, the only thing that's out of style is using American Express. So bring your Visa card. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Florida hasn't forgotten last year. Saturday, 85,000 Gator crazies think payback.
LSU versus Florida at 7 next Saturday on ESPN.
Quincy Carter to Tony Small, and the extra point by Hap Hines. It's 28-21.
It's a crossing route run underneath, and Tony Small's going to be running the end line. in the end zone. He's working against Ryan Clark, who just came off the bench, and it becomes a jump ball situation. Tony Small just uses his hands, takes the ball away from Ryan Clark.
As you look at the scoring drive, let's also give credit to one of those big interior linemen, Chris Terry. The big tackle came back and picked up Jarvis Green, who was pursuing the quarterback, and just that extra second allowed him to get the pass away, and it's a touchdown. If he doesn't make the block, well, then we got third down. Rondell Mealy. Mealy's going to be stopped just across the 20. Well, the most memorable of seasons in Major League Baseball continues later tonight with the National League Divisional Series. Of course, that means the Astros and the Padres are tied at a game apiece if they had headed out to the West Coast, and they'll play it at the Murph. Game 3 tonight, 11 Eastern, following Residence Inn College game night. Hit in the backfield as they got penetration. Dustin Lucky got a hand on him, and it's time to check in with Larry Beal. Larry?
Aaron Texas and Iowa State, and Ricky Williams just tied the NCAA career record with his 65th touchdown, tying Anthony Thompson. Oh, did he fumble at the goal line? Maybe a superstar call there. 37-13 Longhorns.
All righty. Well, you know, it's been a sad week for him as well, with the Heisman Trophy winner from SMU, Doak Walker, passing away, and they were very, very close friends. Hit just as the ball has gotten away. Foster, who has been kept quiet since back in that first quarter, runs into Booty, actually, and the tackle is made.
Nice job by Glenn Ford, number 7, of keeping everything in front of him. He didn't give Larry Foster a chance to get outside. He kept the outside leverage so that he would get help inside. Here's Glenn Ford. Now he keeps outside leverage and forces the play in so he can get some help.
Also, let's give credit inside to Leroy, number 94, who was putting all kind of pressure on Tyler, forcing him to get rid of the football.
That's been the difference so far in the 2 drives. Georgia's put a little pressure on.
Third down, they need the 32, and he gets the pass away complete. That's blocked. And the ball is loose and picked up by Georgia. This is Ford, and knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line, and the ball goes back to LSU. Well, let's go back and reclaim this one.
I'll let you call this one. Kevin Falk collided with one of his own players. He fumbled the ball. Then Glenn Ford picked it up, and then he fumbled it.
Well, if it were a double play in baseball, it'd be 6-4 to 3 to 8 to 1. Here we go.
Pressure, Georgia man coverage. They're firing Adrian Hollinshead. There's the ball completed to Kevin Falk. He's going to collide with a teammate, I believe. There it is right there. Glenn Ford picks it up.
Kendall Cleveland's who he ran into, and then he got stripped, and Langley wound up with the recovery, I believe, here.
Could have been a big play for Georgia.
Whoa. It was Langley who knocked it loose.
Glenn Ford.
And Reggie Robinson made the recover.
The first thing Mickey Matthews will do, the defensive coordinator, next week is show him once you pick up the football, tuck it away. Don't carry it like a loaf of bread.
Well, I think we got all the parties mentioned, didn't we?
Had them all.
Pressure coming from behind. They throw complete to Booty, and he will make it to the 35-yard line. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, we're all trying to catch our breath down here, believe me. Even Jerry DiNardo, who's going up and down the sideline, telling his entire team, offense and defense, everybody, play to the whistle. Even when offense becomes defense in a matter of seconds, play to the whistle, because the way to win this game, or potentially lose this game, is to give up before you hear that whistle.
Nobody has slowed down in this one, I can promise you.
And speaking of whistles, been a pretty good, a pretty well officiated football game.
It has been. Well, the teams have played well, and the officials have not had to do a lot of calls. Booty got it complete at the 45-yard line. That's good for a first down.
When you start pressuring Herb Tyler, the first series out, they put pressure on him. Now what does Morris Watts do? He moves the quarterback out of the pocket. Now trying to stay one step ahead of defensive coordinator Joe Kynes, rolling him outside. Herb Tyler hitting Abram Booty.
Joe Kynes, the official walking by, he was giving his defensive signals. Pats him on the back. Always making sure that Todd is correct. Clock, big opening. Has 5, has 10. Cut it off at 16 yards.
Boy, Tommy Banks again, the fullback. And that's what happens when Herb Tyler starts to roll out. Now you open up the running game. Kevin Falk, and that's the thing Joe Kynes worried about. He said the more he carries, the better he gets. Talking about Kevin Falk.
I'll tell you what Falk told me yesterday. I said, you sleep well after you watch movies on Friday night. And he said, no, because I play the game ahead of time. And I said, before it's played? He said, yeah, it does keep me awake. I said, what do you do after the game? He said, then I replay it, and Herb Tyler tells me when I missed the hole. Tyler rolls the pocket, throws it complete to Foster. Stayed, nope, he didn't stay in bounds. Stepped out of bounds, and they are going to say at the, 31 or 32, Champ Bailey pushed him out. He was already in the end zone, which is not adding to the official situation here.
I was just thinking about what you said. Kevin Falk said if he played this game in his mind last night, then he didn't sleep at all. Because this has been an offensive football game.
Oh, this is a great call by the official because his right foot came back and stepped right on the line as he reset himself. Here it is right here. Watch his right foot. Plants, sets. Look at this right here as he spins around. There it is on the line.
As I said, a well-officiated football game.
Has been. Rogers ready, the referee. Oh, this option play kind of ugly. Just not much happened.
Well, they pulled the guard, Al Jackson, and Herb Tyler got connected with Al Jackson. Couldn't get away from him.
Rubich made the tackle.
So it's going to be third down. And the situation, Georgia 28, LSU 21. And the Tigers, to keep this thing going, need to take it down to the Georgia 30-yard line.
And, Ron, you would figure Kevin Falk's going to be a big player in this third and fourth quarter, and that's a concern of Joe Kynes, that he gets stronger as the game goes.
Well, they line him up at wide receiver this time, and he throws Foster right over the middle, dropped the ball. Boy, as many great catches as he has had in the 2 games we've had him on the air, that thing hit him in the hands.
And, Ron, it was exactly right. Larry Foster should have held on, and Kevin Falk is also being defended by Champ Bailey, so they put their best player on Kevin Falk. And Herb Tyler comes with the football to Larry Foster, just couldn't hold on.
Jeremy Witten, we had a pooch kick from him in the first half, and it was not as successful as he would have wanted. Got a little more room this time. Let's see what he comes up with. Very high. This may be too... Nope. It's going to be caught by an LSU player at the 5. How about that? So there's a break. 4:46 to play. Third quarter. The Dogs by 7.
Since 1938, folks have come to this location for Southern cooking. Owens Barbecue Incorporated continues that tradition and invites you to come out and start the day off right with one of our breakfast biscuits or take a lunch break for one of our pork and beef barbecue plates with all the home fixings. Owens Barbecue has a convenient drive-thru for when you're on the go. We can also handle all of your catering needs. Visit one of our 3 locations today, Rome, Adairsville, and Cedartown.
Eat more pork at Owens Barbecue.
At Access Systems, we want to know just how important is your telephone system to you.
The telephone system is the most important piece of equipment for our bank. We called Access Systems and they evaluated our needs and designed the Lucent telephone system. The system met all of our needs with twice the features, twice the flexibility, and with real cost benefits.
Call Access Systems for all of your telephone communication services, an authorized dealer for Lucent Technologies.
The feel of smart design is the feel of flexibility. Check Tracer FX is the only razor that flexes to cover every sensitive curve. A design so smart, you can feel it. Check the feel of smart design.
Purdue 56.
28-21 our score. You can see just under 5 minutes to play third quarter. And the fortunate thing for Quincy Carter, Mike, to take over the ball at his own 6-yard line, those are the Georgia fans, for the most part, in the lower deck that are behind him. If he was at the other end of the field, it could be trouble to hear his signals.
And this is where LSU's got to come up big here. They got to keep Georgia down here, force a turnover, keep them down here, forcing the punt.
This is Patrick Pass, and he weaves his way out to the 11th before LeBlanc will come over and make the tackle on him.
Well, I tell you, the Georgia offensive line's done a nice job on Anthony McFarland. It's become a passing football game. Quick passes against Anthony McFarland. I think he's had 3 tackles in this ball game, so they've been able offensively, 409 yards, not to have the big play made by Anthony McFarland, the great defensive lineman for LSU.
Jonas Jennings, number 75, came in to replace Miles Lucky at center. Patrick Pass, big opening. Boy, if he doesn't grab him by the jersey, speaking of McFarland, he might still be running as he picks up the first down all the way to the 25.
And, Ron, that's the thing about Anthony McFarland, just talk about him. He's a little frustrated in this ball game because it's not been his kind of ball game, but he makes this play. He's getting double-teamed, and now he reaches out and grabs a hold of Patrick Pass and just holds on. But he makes the play, keeping Patrick Pass from breaking it in the secondary.
And very quickly, Charles Smith, number 35, runs over and calls timeout for LSU.
Elizabeth Phipps, please report to LSU Public Safety. Now some updated.
Well, an interesting situation when Coach DiNardo speaks. It appears that consumers listen down here in Louisiana. In fact, that's why a local bank has enlisted his services in a popular series of TV spots.
Mike.
Just leave the check on the counter.
Tigers Banking. It's how Coach DiNardo pays.
Now, we need to say that Jerry shot that. That was a real Bengal Tiger, but it was not the Mike 5. Your arm might look like one of those meat trays if you tried to carry him in and out of the grocery store.
Guy did a great job on the pole, too.
Oh, he did. Oh, boy. Let's check in with Adrian. I'm anxious to hear this. Adrian?
Ron, the significant injury to Georgia right now is that Miles Lucky, the original center for the Bulldogs, has gone out of the knee with at least a hyperextension to his right knee and is out indefinitely. Significant because he was one of the men at the single or double teaming on Booger McFarland. You've seen what he's done here in the last couple of plays.
Well, here comes the blitz up the middle as the pass is thrown. Got it complete again. That's Michael Greer. And, boy, what a really, really tough break for Miles Lucky to sustain that kind of injury, and difficult for his teammates. One of the triplets that these guys have all contributed mightily to this Georgia football team.
Well, they really have, and they're going to miss him in the center line. And what Adrian was talking about, when you can control Anthony McFarland as Georgia has tonight and not allow him to be an impact player.
I mentioned the triplets. And they are from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Dustin, Miles, and Mike. And interesting when you look at the difference in size. The height about the same, but 240, 240, and 285 for Miles in the middle.
Eating like Adrian.
First down, Bulldogs.
So it is a first down as they measure it.
And they gradually are changing field position again, Ron, which is a good move by the freshman quarterback.
The drive started at the Georgia 6-yard line. It's Brown in motion. Ball is fumbled, and it appeared as though Quincy Carter got back on it.
I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but sometimes the tailback has to take a little jab step to separate from the fullback. I'm not sure if that hit the fullback.
I think it did, Mike. I think he couldn't get the ball to him.
Let's see here when you...
13.
Yeah, it's a fullback. See, the tailback has to jab a little bit to give the separation for the quarterback to get the ball in, but I think Quincy Carter just turned and flipped it to the fullback.
A little
one of the few mistakes that he's made.
Well, that's true. Second down, they need to take it out to the 44-yard line. situation. And let's check in again with Larry Veal. Larry?
Wild finish. Kentucky and Arkansas. Cats down 7. Final seconds. Tim Couch was thrown for 498 yards just off the hands of Kevin Coleman. Arkansas hangs on 27-20. Oklahoma State has just scored to tie it up with Nebraska in the 4th quarter. Wow.
Boy, a couple of wows there. That's a huge win. Arkansas playing very well. Here comes the 3rd down play. 3rd down, and as I said, they need to take it to the 44. It's a pitch reverse, and what a play defensively by Jarvis Green. Tony Small, as soon as he got the football, got Jarvis Green. Well, under these circumstances, he's going to almost have to kick to fall.
Yeah, he can't afford to do what he did before, the 27-yard punt.
Well, he kicked it away from him, and it's now taking a Georgia roll, and it's going to go dead just across midfield. That's a 28-yard punt. We're coming up again this Friday on ESPN2. Brian Kenny and Max Kellerman host Friday Night Fights, your home for boxing news and classic fights. Frank Tate takes on David Telesco in our featured bout. It also will continue to chronicle the amazing career of the great Muhammad Ali. Catch Friday Night Fights every week at 8 Eastern on ESPN2.
Ron, Brian Kinney does a nice job with Mel Kiper and the radio show in the afternoon, hitting every college game in the country, the ESPN radio show. That's excellent to listen to.
So the Tigers with great field position. Tyler sets with lots of time. Ball is tipped and almost intercepted by Kirby Smart. You could see the tight end Kipps was trying to come over and get it. Of course, the minute the ball is tipped, all pass interference is off.
Yeah, Kirby Smart had a chance at this play, and he was thinking interception all the way, but Kyle Kipps ran into him, and he couldn't get to the football. But he had that interception in his eyesight.
And you know, LSU was very fortunate that the ball was not tipped a little more to the open side of the field. Had a lot of red jerseys over there.
Now, Corey Robinson's in the game, number 26 now, given another rest to Champ Bailey.
Big pressure, gets by a second, and is finally going to be pushed out of bounds at around the 47-yard line. Well, Georgia had people all over the place in hot pursuit of Herb Tyler as we check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, I'm right next to the LSU bench, but Lou Tepper coordinates his defense with a classroom approach. He always has, as a matter of fact, and now he's taken that mentality here to the sidelines. Following every defensive series, each player takes his assigned seat to study the adjustments and tendencies he just saw on the field. And even the night before a game, Ron, the whole unit has to pass a videotape test and a written test. Players love the respect they have for this whole routine. Sounds like a lot, but it works.
Tyler, ball batted down at the line of scrimmage, and it's Marcus Stroud.
Marcus Stroud was one of the first big recruiting coups for Jim Donnan. Everybody thought he was going to go to Florida, and he chose Georgia. You see, he gets his big hands up. Now, that's what you got to do to Herb Tyler. He's 6 foot tall, and that's stretching him. 6'6" Marcus Stroud. Defensive linemen, get those hands up.
Jeremy Witten to kick again. That's the 3rd time that Georgia has tipped a pass by him tonight. Michael Greer got what he could and went down at the 21.
Return the punt. Marquise Spears.
Well, we got that report from Adrian just a moment ago. We talked about the classroom approach on the LSU sideline. What does Anthony McFarland think of it?
And it's kind of like a crash course right on the sideline. After every series, we'll come over here and say, this is what they did to y'all. This is what's probably going to happen next. Here's how we're going to adjust to it. So it's kind of like having a halftime after each series, and it's been good. It's still now, instead of waiting a halftime, you can kind of to make your adjustments. You can make your adjustments during the game, and at halftime you can kind of go over all of them and make any new adjustments.
That's a good way to put it. Like a halftime anytime during the game. Small, as soon as he catches the ball, it's LeBlanc who was right there to make the tackle. And you remember it was Clarence who made the pickoff against Auburn, intercepting and scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, Clarence LeBlanc, he just played this quick screen right off the bat on Tony Small. There's no room for an error here by Quincy Carter. The tight end's going in motion, Jermaine Wiggins, but he can't block the strong safety, Clarence LeBlanc, because he's right up on the play. Georgia needs to, again, change his field position a little bit. You're giving LSU too many chances with great field position.
LeBlanc now with 10 tackles. So 2 of the set of the defensive backs with double-figure tackles as the runner, Arnaud, breaks his tackle and brings it out over the 25. Boy, we had Roman for 13 and LeBlanc now with 10. Both the safeties with 23 tackles.
Playing very well. And Robert Arnaud, the junior running back, and the player we haven't seen tonight is Jasper Sanks, number 28. So what I'm figuring is, Ron, when you get to this stage of your football game team schedule and you don't play him right now, you're going to redshirt him probably. So you're going to see Jasper Sanks redshirted on the Georgia football team. 4 fingers high in the air by the Georgia team. We are headed for the final 15 minutes. It is the Bulldogs 28 and the LSU Tigers 21.
State Farm presents Rules of the Game.
We're talking about the runner being downed by contact. In this play, is the runner downed by the tackler?
I do kitchens, I do bathrooms, I do family rooms. I do not do insurance. I want to be treated like I feel I treat my clients. I want to be treated like I am their only client. Michelle Duthman treats me the same way I want to be treated. I have my cars, all of my household. I need somebody that I can get advice from. I know that when I need them the most, they're going to be there.
Get to know your State Farm agent.
It's a great relationship.
We're talking about a runner being downed by contact. In this play, the runner is not downed by contact as his knee did not touch the ground. He may continue to run with the ball.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Are you okay?
Taxi! Yes, guys?
Prodigy Internet has faster download speeds, so you spend less time online and more time on life. Prodigy Internet.
Introducing a sports sedan that sets a new standard of performance and a touring sedan that sets a new standard of luxury. Here they are. Introducing the new TL with the satellite-linked navigation system from Acura.
It starts here. It starts here. It also starts here and here. And it all starts right here at Walmart, home of the EverStart battery. All the coal cranking power your truck, car, boat, or more will ever need. Power you can count on when you need it most. And since it's at Walmart, you can also count on a good price. EverStart. The name says it all.
Well, we're set for the 4th quarter. And Mike, what an entertaining football game. I'm not sure we could have asked for any more for the first 3 quarters.
And not many mistakes in this football game. Been a well-played game. They better keep their eye on Quincy Carter as a runner here, too. Not only a passer.
Third
Looks like
down.
they're going to come after him, Ron.
And they need the 32-yard line. Here comes the blitz off the corner. Throws the pass and has it complete. And that's, nope, incomplete. And they say Larry Brown couldn't hold on. Well, there's a big stop by LSU.
Yeah, Lou Tepper with a good call. He brought pressure out of the secondary on Quincy Carter. Wasn't going to give him a lot of time to make a decision here. Larry Brown, the tight end, in the flat. Mark Roman right on him. Couldn't hold on to the football, and he forced the punt.
Only the second. Well, it's going to be the third. Third punt by Georgia. The second by England. out of bounds as soon as he caught it at the 45. Well, that cover guy had run right by him. I'm sure his eyes got a little big there, thinking, I got something big in front of me.
And you see an adjustment by Jim Don, and he knew kicking away from him wasn't good because they got a 27-yard punt and a 28-yard punt, so he figures, hey, let's just punt it to him. Maybe it'll help us a little bit. 40 yards on that punt and 2 on the return. So you're right. A lot better net than what he had been getting. As Bailey is on the sideline, you see how many plays he's run. And here's the trade-off, Ron. You've got to have good backup corners because he's not on the field right now.
Tyler, here comes a reverse. It's Foster. Gets one block, gets a second, and he's going to have the first down as he goes inside the Georgia 45. And LSU saying, you got trick plays, and we do too.
Boy, Ryan Thomasy, I believe number 65, just leveled one of the Georgia players.
Hollingshead, I believe, 44.
I'm telling you, talk about a hit. He's smiling because he knows in the film tomorrow when they show that film, he's going to be a big hit guy.
First down for the Tigers.
Thomasy from Cutoff, Louisiana. Falk weaves his way, bounces to the outside. He's still going to wind up with about 8.5 yards of the play as Harrison Smart combined on the tackle. Let's check in with Larry Beal.
We showed you Oklahoma State tying the score at 17. Well, Nebraska has retaken control on the punt return. It's Joe Walker breaking away here, 73 yards. Huskers lead it 24-17, fourth quarter.
Woo, and no flag on that block in the back. That Oklahoma State kid went flying after he got hit. It was just a little block in the back, I guess. About to go into 13 minutes to play. The handoff to Falk. Spins off one tackler, and he's going to take it inside the 25 to the 22. Davis hit him first. He spun off, and Witherspoon got it.
Well, this is the concern of Joe Kynes because when you alternate tailbacks, Kevin Falk and Rondale Mealy, this is when it has to pay off in the fourth quarter. Kevin Falk just rips inside. Quentin Davis is finally going to make the tackle, but he's showing you now his strength and power in this fourth quarter. Just bouncing off guys.
Well, they say his knee touched at the 23. Blocking of Tommy Banks, and he's down in the vicinity of the 16-yard line.
In our conference call with Joe Kynes, he made this statement. He said those 3rd and 4-yard runs in the fourth quarter, because he gets better as the game goes on and you get tired, become 10 and 12. And that's exactly what's happening in this series.
Joe just made a substitution also on the front as he brought Stroud back in, a couple of the other regulars who had been getting a rest. He got the number 1s back in the field. 2nd down and 3. Falk, big opening up the middle, inside the 10, and he's down to the 5. The ball just outside the 5-yard line. It is 1st and 5.5 yards for the touchdown for LSU. Mike McVay scored here. It might equal that earthquake game against Auburn.
There's no doubt, Ron. And Kevin Falk now, 4 straight carries. He comes off the sideline. And the other problem is you got Rondale Mealy now coming in. They lost the diesel, but they got Rondale Mealy.
Let's see if they give it to him. Banks is the blocker, and we got movement all over the place.
Flag of the play.
A dead ball, false start against the offense, movement in the line before the snap, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Jerry DiNardo, we were talking yesterday with him about family and friends coming in on ball game weekends, and he said Hotel DiNardo will be sleeping at least 18 people on Saturday night. He got family and friends coming in. I think his daughter's having a sleepover or something.
Makes it a whole lot better when you win.
Isn't that the truth? Draw play. Mealy slowed at the line of scrimmage. That's a great job by Leroy, and he got just enough of him, and then Paul Snellings came over to finish him off. And it looks look who's coming back. Kevin Falk will check back in, and Mealy will come to the bench.
Well, they're going to use them both, Ron. Now they'll use Falk as a pass receiver.
What they used this past week on Thursday, Mealy stays in the backfield, and it's Booty, Foster, and Falk who come to one side.
And when you bring Falk out as a wide receiver, usually he is the #1 choice.
Well, if it's man, they go to him. If it's zone, they go to Foster. But they swing it out to Mealy, and he dropped the ball. Is that alive? Whoa, that was close to being a lateral.
Late whistle on that play. Rondell Mealy trying to catch the flare out of the backfield. Herb Tyler using the 3 receivers to clear out.
You could see that the ball was just a little bit ahead.
Took his eyes off the football.
Cochran was the man putting pressure. 3rd down. And the ball just outside the 10-yard line.
LSU ran a very successful quarterback draw in this same situation against Auburn.
Falk sets. But Tyler, beg your pardon, under pressure, running for his life, and he's not going to get away. Georgia's going to sack him way back at the 18-yard line. Josh Mallard is there to make the tackle on him.
Well, Josh Mallard is an interesting player. Jim Donnan will not let him practice against the first-team offense because he wrecks the offense. He's had 5 sacks coming into this ballgame. Excellent pass rusher. Redshirt freshman, 6'2", 240. And he just wrecked LSU's offense.
Oh, he did. It's going to be a 35-yard attempt. Cobbin to attempt it. Low line drive kick. Did he get it? Yes, just through the left side of the uprights as he knocks it home. And with 10:27 left of the ballgame, our new score is Georgia 28 and LSU 24. So let's take a timeout. More from Baton Rouge after we pause for this.
Where does stock car legend Mark Martin race when he wants great food, fast, fresh, and ready to go?
Hi, well, from the Sonic Man, take your order.
That'd have to be Sonic. Thanks. For our Sonic drive-in deals, your choice of 5 combo meals with fries or tots and any medium Sonic fountain favorite, all at a special low price. Hey, Steve, run. Gotta go.
What? No dessert?
Drive-in deals made fresh to order at Sonic.
It's like this. We like big engines, big tires, and riding up high. That's why we don't make cars. We think you'll see more of the world in the 215 horsepower Isuzu Trooper. Lease one for $289 a month for 48 months with $784 due at lease signing. Because the world is big, and cars just aren't.
Okay, people, this is a phone, and this is $1. You still with me? Well, that's good. Now, dial this number, and all your long-distance calls from home could cost less than $1. That's right, with 10-10-220, all calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents. Talk longer, and it's just 10 cents for each extra minute. No fees, no contracts. Am I right, Poochie? Just dial 10-10-220, then 1, then the number. Bottom line, you get up to 20 minutes on this for less than this. You got that? Good, because if I'm not mistaken, I think nature's calling my dog.
ESPN's presentation of college football is brought to you by Sonic, America's drive-in, where we invite you to drive in for a change. And by Isuzu, specialized worldwide builders of adventure machines. Isuzu, go farther. We are back with 10:27 to play, 28-24. The Georgia Bulldogs, the number 12 team in the nation, trying to pull the upset over the number 6 and previously unbeaten LSU Tigers. This is Kessler with the kickoff. And this is going to be Champ Bailey on a return from the 8-yard line. And there he goes. Bailey could not get by the move of Damian Woods, but he brings it out to the 35. And let's check in again with Larry Beal.
Ron, the Ricky Williams show continues. Becoming the NCAA all-time touchdown king, breaking Anthony Thompson's mark, jogging into the end zone. That's 66 career TDs for Ricky. 47-26 Longhorns.
Looks like a defensive struggle there.
Well, it gives you, what, 10 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks? Bradley and Gary, the two running backs. Bradley, as a flag comes down, that's probably going to be offensive holding as McFarland comes over with his pursuit to make the tackle, but it was thrown by the umpire.
Starting to make mistakes again. The holding call in the middle.
Flag on the play.
Anthony McFarland keeps working in the inside, Ron.
You know, he made such a penetration, such a jump at the line of scrimmage. He almost gets the quarterback. Look at this.
He's on it. He's tilting.
Mm-hmm.
He beats the center's block, and now he keeps going down the line of scrimmage in good pursuit. That's a big penalty again. When you start in a hole like this, here's the play again. Anthony McFarland getting in the backfield. No one can block him. He flattens down, makes the tackle on Ronnie Bradley.
So it's first down, and for Georgia to pick up the first down, they've got to go all the way out to their own 46-yard line. 8 penalties, 80 yards against the Bulldogs.
Might be a good screen down.
That ball was knocked loose and went right into the arms of Chris Terry, the right tackle. And a flag has been thrown. Now, if they called it a pass, that's a reason for the flag. If he fumbled it, there is no flag. That's right.
A fumble.
Okay.
Ron, again, good pressure. Anthony McFarland getting blocked by the center. Pressure comes from the outside. Jarvis Green knocks the ball loose. Chris Terry, a former defensive lineman, moved to offensive tackle, recovered that fumble. See Anthony McFarland. How tired this LSU defense is, but they got to come up one more time. Big.
Second down, and their crowd is trying to help them as they always do in this stadium. Carter's pass caught on the comeback, number 9, Small, and they'll mark him at the 31-yard line.
Ron, a battle is going on with Chris Terry, the right tackle, against Jarvis Green. I mean, that's an NFL type of blocking situation there. Chris Terry, 6'5", 285 pounds against Jarvis Green. And I mean, they are working each other.
So the situation, it is 28-24, Georgia. About to go under 9 minutes to play. Third down for the Bulldogs, and they need to take it to the 46-yard line. Move right here.
Well, his nickname is the Booger, and he just comes off the line of scrimmage and makes a good sack. Beats Steve Herndon, the left guard. Well, LSU should have good field position after this punt.
John England to kick it away.
I was going to say, Kevin Falk looks to me like he's getting stronger and stronger toward this fourth quarter.
Best punt of the night. Very high, good coverage kick, and caught by Falk. 45, crosses the 50, and he's going to wind up with a gain of about 14 yards on that return. Fred Booker forced him out of bounds. So let's take a break. Just over 8 minutes to play. Georgia by 4, but the Tigers are ignited.
It's like this. We like big engines, big tires, and riding up high. That's why we don't make cars. We think you'll see more of the world in a 215 horsepower Isuzu Trooper. Lease one for $289 a month for 48 months with $784 due at lease signing. Because the world is big, and cars just aren't.
I love lobster. Boiled lobster, broiled lobster, jumbo lobster, baked stuffed lobster, steamed lobster, lobster Newburgh, lobster tail, there he goes again. Lobster roll, sauteed lobster. Did I mention lobster stew? Boils
The Cook's Lobster House off the coast of Maine. They'll give you lobster just about any way you want it. But bring your Visa card, because you won't get a bite using American Express.
Sir, any suggestions?
There's boiled lobster.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Showtime. On October 9th, this is important, Eddie Murphy's On the Tube.
Whoa! He gave him the chainsaw.
In the Groove.
A baby Jesus.
No, that's not Jesus. That's Merv Griffin. And Off the Hook.
How do you taste in that?
It was a pig.
Mostly my...
Whoa!
It's a joke. It's herbal tea.
Holy Man.
Thank you, mine.
Rated PG. Starts this Friday at a theater near you.
It's a Big East battle on Thursday night as quarterback Al Clark leads the Hokies into Boston College.
Virginia Tech versus Boston College at 8, Thursday on ESPN.
As we come back, Tiger Stadium is just in a frenzy, and look who is the guy who is putting them in a frenzy. Falk ran away from the huddle and started telling the crowd, stand up and cheer, and they've gone crazy. That'll kill a girl.
Well, he's pumped this crowd up, Ron. Now he's going to pump this offense up because they're going to give him the football. He's going to be a factor as we get to the 8-16 mark. The strength of Kevin Falk.
From the 41-yard line at first down, he gets the handoff, turns it upfield, going to take it for a couple of tough yards as Grant and Antonio Cochran are out there to put the stop on him.
Now it comes down to who wins here because Joe Kynes has substituted his defensive linemen. They're fresh at the end of this ball game. Kevin Falk has been arrested with Rondell Mealy, so now it comes down to the championship fight now. Who stands here when this game's over?
Joe Kynes hollering from the sideline. Instructions for his defense. It is second down at about 8. About to go under 7.5 minutes to play. Tyler sets deep in the pocket. Pressure is on. He's hit. And the first man to get to him, Dustin Lucky. That's 4 times that they have gotten to Herb Tyler.
They brought Dustin Lucky off the corner. Joe Kynes said, I've seen enough of this. Herb Tyler having time to throw.
Marcus Stroud is shaken up.
Bulldog player shaken up on the play.
Well, Joe Kynes is as good a defensive coach as there is in the country.
You know, the interesting thing about this Georgia team is Stroud still down on the floor here at Tiger Stadium and being checked out by the training staff. Joe Kynes said at the beginning of the year, and we talked with him, he didn't know how good they were going to be. But the one point that he made, he said, I got a bunch of young guys that can't wait to get to practice. He said the unusual thing is they get there early and they want to stay late. They can't wait to learn. He said, I like that because it's an infectious thing. And he said, we may turn out to be pretty good.
Yeah, he talked about this ball. What did he say? Something about if they'll bite you young when they're a young pup, they'll be tough all along. But he brought some pressure on Herb Tyler on that last play. See Rodney Garner on the sidelines also.
We're going to take a break. As Stroud is still down, they check him over, so we got time for a timeout. 7:15 left in our ball game. We'll be right back.
The shaken up player.
Since 1938, folks have come to this location for Southern cooking. Owens Barbecue Incorporated continues that tradition and invites you to come out and start the day off right with one of our breakfast biscuits or take a lunch break for one of our pork and beef barbecue plates with all the home fixings. Owens Barbecue has a convenient drive-thru for when you're on the go. We can also handle all of your catering needs. Visit one of our 3 locations today, Rome, Adairsville, and Cedartown.
Eat my perk at Owens Barbecue.
I pledge that one of our emergency care physicians will be at your side as soon as possible.
That every child will receive the quickest, most compassionate care.
That we will treat every emergency, major or minor, with the same degree of superior attention and care.
And that we will remain the single most comprehensive cardiac emergency facility in Northwest Georgia.
This is my pledge.
This is my pledge.
This is my pledge.
This is my pledge to you, the people of Northwest Georgia.
I've met. What do you mean works? Regrows hair, or at least stops hair loss.
My luck, I'll be that 5th guy.
Probably not. But here's our guarantee. Give Rogaine extra strength and honest chance. You be the judge. It stops hair loss or regrows hair. More hair, thicker hair, faster. Or we give your money back. Guaranteed. Rogaine Extra Strength works for you or your money back. I can't lose.
Stroud being attended to on the sideline as they helped him off, and it would appear that it is an ankle.
Ron, you were just talking about, you said this has been a well-played ball game. You hate to see anybody lose this football game. And next week, they're selling out in this ball game, and both have tough opponents next week.
Georgia goes home to play Tennessee, and LSU travels to Gainesville against Florida, which is the game we'll have next Saturday night. Third down. Tyler gonna run it. He's got open room. 40, 35, at the 30. First and 10, LSU.
Ran out of his shoe.
He put a stake in the heart of Florida right here last year doing the same thing.
Big play. They brought Adrian Hollingshed, the middle linebacker, and that's what a mobile quarterback will do for you. Picks up the first down.
23 yards in the pass play, so LSU owns it. First down at the Georgia 20. Counter play. Falk goes to the right side, and he will have about 3. That's Evans holding on to him.
The last drive, Kevin Falk was the man of the hour as he ran the football continually against this Georgia defense. And now you figure, Ron, ball's going to be in his hands.
Well, I mean, he is the guy. He wants it. 17-yard line, second down. Tyler and Wisely didn't pitch it. Now, you say Wisely, Ron, he lost yardage, but if he had pitched it, I think Falk would have lost even more, could have turned it over.
It may have been a fumble. Richard Seymour, number 93. LSU has not been able to get the option play on Georgia tonight.
So the situation now is they're going to mark the ball down just shy of the 20. It is third down, and the Tigers need to take it to the 10-yard line to pick up the first down, and they trail by 4 points. And LSU wants a timeout. Tyler comes to the sideline and will take it with him. 5:19 to play. Big third down when we come back.
Your attention, please.
It's like this. We like big engines, big tires, and riding up high. That's why we don't make cars. We think you'll see more of the world in a 215 horsepower Isuzu Trooper. Lease one for $289 a month for 48 months with $784 due at lease signing. Because the world is big, and cars just aren't.
Cal, sir, I'd like to get my hands on her.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to put her in drive.
Say hello to the Blank Road Dream, coming to a track near you. Thanks, and enjoy.
Are you concerned about losing more hair? Do you wonder how much further it will go? Do you wish you could do something about it? Well, now there's a pill for men with certain types of hair loss. Introducing Propecia. In clinical studies, the vast majority of men, 83%, maintain their current hair count, and most, 66%, regrew some hair. Take it daily and you could see results in as little as 3 months. Propecia is for men only. A small number of men experience certain sexual side effects. Each occurred in less than 2% of men. Women who are or may potentially be pregnant must not use it or handle broken tablets because of the risk of a specific kind of birth defect. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist and read the consumer information they can provide. Propecia, helping make hair loss history.
Well, as you can see, as the trainers work on the sideline, Stroud wants to come back in the ballgame, so they have retaped him, and they're getting that shoe ready so that the right foot will be set. 5:19 to play. Third down, just around the 10, and here comes the flag down.
Movement in the offensive line of LSU.
Dead ball foul. False start against the offense. Movement in the line prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
And let's check in with Larry Beal. Larry?
Ron, you guys are having quite a finish, and check out this one. Nebraska and Oklahoma State. Tony Lindsay to Sean Love to the 1-yard line. They need a touchdown to tie Nebraska. Final play of the game, they got stuffed.
Well, close doesn't count. Pass knocked away, and defensively, Kirby Smart is the guy who got there to make the play.
Ron, he made it a great play because he used his right hand and came around and knocked the ball away from Larry Foster. Fans wanted a pass interference, but it was not pass interference. It was very well played by the safety, senior safety. Just uses his right hand and knocks that football away, forcing the field goal.
41-yard attempt by Cobbin. Should get one more look at it. Good pass. Ball is down. Plenty of distance. We got a one-point game. With 5:08 to play, the LSU Tigers have cut it to 28-27. And let's check in again with Larry Beal. Larry?
All right, Ron, I teased you a little bit. Final play of the game, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, 1-yard line. Stuffed. Nathan Simmons, the coach's son, Bob Simmons' son, never had a chance on that play.
Well, you can see the reaction by the coaching staff of Oklahoma State, and that old saying of horseshoes and hand grenades, the only thing close is good in. And but boy, what a heartbreaker. Coach Simmons and his club, what a gigantic upset that would have been.
Nebraska finds ways to win those kind of football games. Ron, the thing that sticks out most to me right now is LSU only has one timeout left, so they've got to have a defensive stand here to get that ball back.
Champ Bailey, one of the two deep men. Wansley is back there with him. Clock shows 5:08 to play. Coming to Bailey's side, and it's returnable from 1 yard deep in the end zone.
Returns it to the 20.
Well, next week on ESPN2, Wisconsin's battering ram Ron Dane will be on the move in prime time. The 130 yards rushing in today's win over Indiana. He's now over 4,000 yards for his career. He'll finish off a triple header on Saturday that begins with Northwestern at Iowa and Cincinnati at Syracuse and Purdue at Wisconsin. Next Saturday, all on ESPN2. But his crowd is trying to help out one more time. And this time, Quincy Carter has that LSU cheering section to his back. Option play. Patrick Pass gets everything that he can, and Jarvis Green finally will force him out of bounds. Adrian, let's check in with you.
Ron, all week long, Jerry Donato in press conferences, talking to newspapers, radio stations, has said, you know, my defensive unit, I'm a little bit concerned about those guys. I don't know if they're up to the test. Well, the defensive unit read that. And I talked to Booger McFarland yesterday. He says, well, you know what? His gamble paid off. We read that stuff. We heard that stuff. It's got us pumped up. Now is when we make the difference. His strategy paid off here, Ron.
Well, Coach Donato told us that. Yeah, that's right at the meeting yesterday. He said they know that I have what my ploy is, but still it's been thrown out there in public, and he said I'm doing everything I can to get them a little more irate than they would be on Saturday. So there's a timeout. 4:52 remaining in the ball game, and we'll take it with them. Georgia, their lead now has been cut to 1.
That's Ursus Arctos man, grizzly bear, about 1,200 pounds. Try and act confident. Show your teeth and snarl. It should trigger his flight instinct. If that doesn't work, walk directly up to the bear and box him on his ear.
Are you a forest ranger?
No, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
What sets some people apart gives them the confidence to succeed on their own terms. It's no secret, it's the Wall Street Journal. Now you can have that confidence delivered for 13 weeks at just $36.75, just 57 cents a day. That's a 25% savings off our regular rate, which makes now a great time to try this limited time offer. Call now, 800-356-9800. That's 800-356-9800 for the Wall Street Journal.
Crowd coming back to their feet. And that's not unusual here at Tiger Stadium. They're trying to help out their folks.
Ron Landis Gary's in the ball game now. He's a captain of this football team. He transferred here from Marshall.
They faked a counter to him, and the pass got it complete. Larry Brown. And Brown is hit immediately by guess who? Mark Roman has just been sensational.
Has had a career night, Mark Roman. He makes the tackle here. They pick up a couple yards, but it's still 3rd and 6, and that clock's moving against LSU.
That ties a career record for Roman. He's got 16 tackles. Or is it 15? 15 tackles. One more and he breaks it.
I'm sure before Georgia came out in this series, the offensive coaches told him 2 first downs and we win this first football game because LSU only has 1 timeout. You got to knock out 2 first downs.
4 minutes, 10 seconds, now 4:09 and counting. 3rd down. The line to make is just across the 30. And a timeout has been called by Georgia. Quincy Carter came to the line of scrimmage, and the clock was getting short. So we'll take the break with him. Still a 1-point lead. Back with more from Baton Rouge after this.
Do you have trouble driving in?
Hi there. I'm a single dad, just out here looking for a lunch date. There are 2 of you. Jackpot. Can I interest you in a great deal? It's only 99 cents. Oh, nice hands. Perfect for a 99-cent grab-and-go sandwich. Deliciously crunchy fish or chicken at a great price. Just 99 cents from Long John Silver's. Okay, now, smile and say 99 cents.
I pledge that one of our emergency care physicians will be at your side as soon as possible.
That our EMS teams will continue to lead with excellence, like being the first in the state to administer clot-busting medications.
That your diagnosis will always be backed by the most advanced technology available. And that every child will receive the quickest, most compassionate care.
This is my pledge.
This is my pledge.
This is my pledge.
This is my pledge to you, the people of Northwest Georgia.
Hi, folks. I'm Eli Gold from my good friends at Parkway Ford in Adairsville. Have you ever wondered why you see so many vehicles with Parkway Ford tags? Could it be we offer some of the most competitive prices anywhere? Maybe it's because we offer such a wide variety of new and used vehicles. Or could it be Parkway Ford is a multiple winner of Ford Motor Company's Customer Excellence Awards? Whatever the reasons are, come see for yourself why Parkway Ford is one of the leaders in the automotive industry. I'm Eli Gold. Come see us today at Parkway Ford.
Because he's done it all tonight, but I'll tell you, also put a star beside Quincy Carter because he had tremendous pressure by Anthony McFarland to throw this football. Now, he decked him in the midsection. He couldn't follow through on this play, takes the hit, shows you the strength of his arm. Champ Bailey makes this catch, goes up, catches the football, 1st down, Georgia. 1 more 1st down, you can turn out the lights.
Clock is running at 3:39. Comes blitz off the corner. Landis Gary trying to stay in bounds, and he did. You can see the official winding the clock. Green on the stop.
Ron, I can't believe Anthony McFarland at this part. He beat the snapback. Almost disrupts his play. It causes a fumble. Number 94. Swims the center, gets back. Now he has his choice to either take Quincy Carter or Landis Gary. Picked the wrong one.
Stinchcomb still trying to block in the middle and helps Landis Gary just enough so that they don't lose yardage on the play.
They better start double teaming Anthony McFarland.
Quarterback draw. 50. 45, and he slides down, and that is a Georgia 1st down. Carter's kind of walking like he's getting a cramp in that right leg.
He's taking some hits here tonight. A couple of times.
3 by McFarland.
Yeah, a couple of times he's had a chance to get out of bounds, and he showed his toughness by staying in, trying to get the 1st down. Anthony McFarland again, number 94. Now they're doubling him. He still splits a double, but gets pushed outside by Steve Herndon. Quincy Carter picks up the 1st down, slides, takes a hit.
He kind of went limp before he slid there. 1st down from the 38-yard line. Make it to 43, beg your pardon. Gary tries tries to get a block, and it's McFarland who is going to follow him to the sideline, pursue him, and make the tackle.
Well, you talk about Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey made great plays to help his team win the football game. Anthony McFarland, there's no quit in Anthony McFarland. He's still trying to make plays. Gets double-teamed by the center and Steve Herndon, and breaks down the sideline to get the hit on the Londescary and knocks him out of bounds. Stops the clock. Ron, he'd be my player of the game for LSU. There's no stop in Anthony McFarland.
This is Bradley. Spins off a tackler. Does not want to go out of bounds. Joe Wesley grabs hold of him as he stays on the field of play. And now the clock is under 2 minutes.
And I can't get over the poise of Quincy Carter. We talked about freshman quarterback. They made a big deal of that here at LSU this week. The news media and the radio stations about him coming in and playing in front of this loud crowd. And he's using the clock. He's doing the best he can. He's looking at the 25-second clock. He's taking the play. He's running it down. He's playing an outstanding football game.
Robert Arnaud checks into the backfield, number 30. He's there with Bradley. Arnaud is the tailback. Arnaud turns it upfield and is very close to the 30, which is plenty enough for the first down, and the Georgia crowd knows it. They are jumping and shouting with 1:17 to play. They may be now well within reason of knocking off the number 6 team in America. As Quincy Carter's mom, looks like some folks are excited and maybe tossing something from up above there, using that seat for a protection. And they'll take it on one knee. LSU has just used their final timeout with 50 seconds left on the clock. And Jerry DiNardo knows that once this one is over and they snap it back in play, there's not a thing he can do, and Georgia is going to come up with certainly the biggest win in Jim Donovan's short career at Georgia.
Well, you take that Florida game last year and this one this year, and as we talked about early in this ball game, it's a young Georgia football team that's just come together under their coach Jim Donovan. And a fabulous performance by Quincy Carter.
Well, tonight's Visa Players of the Game from the University of Georgia, Quincy Carter. You see his numbers. Defensively from LSU, it's going to be Anthony Booger McFarland. And as part of their continuing effort to further the development of amateur athletics, Visa is proud to donate $1,000 on behalf of these athletes to their school's General Scholarship Fund. Coming up next, residents in college game night with a full update from Larry Beal in the studio, plus Chris Lee and Kirk joining him on location in Columbus, Ohio. That's as soon as we're done here in Baton Rouge.
At the 33-yard line.
Carter goes down on one knee.
Carter takes a knee.
It's a helpless feeling when you can't stop the clock.
At the 36-yard line.
Well, he'll take a knee here, and this one, you see Jim Donovan, he's already starting the celebration. Watches that clock run down as Carter will go under, take the snap, and the Georgia Bulldogs, a football team that Jim Donovan said, we could be pretty good this year, but most of the media in preseason said it's going to be a rebuilding year. Well, guess what? They are undefeated and have just knocked off on the road the number 6-ranked LSU Tigers.
Ron, again, Quincy Carter, the nation saw a great performance by a freshman quarterback in here tonight, and Champ Bailey, big play after big play. Georgia defense didn't tire, didn't let LSU in, won the big football game.
Our final score, Georgia 28 and LSU 27. Stay tuned for Residents Inn College Game Night coming up next. And join us next week on Saturday Prime Time as LSU travels to Gainesville to take on Florida at 7 Eastern. For Mike Godfrey, to Adrian Karsten, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Ron Franklin. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now, once again, here's Larry Deal. Larry?
All right, thank you, Ron. Here we go. Arizona and Washington. It's Willie Hurst leaping in for the touchdown from 19 yards. The Purple Haze, they got eaten up by the Big Red of Nebraska last week.